Just getting weekly jobless claims data coming through here on the initial side of things. 222,000 for last week versus 218,000 expected there. Ongoing continuing claims there, basically in line with expectations, slightly lower, 1.84 versus 1.88 million on the continuing claims side of things. Existing home sales due out in about a half an hour from now. We'll bring you that. Durable goods orders as well coming through there. 0.1% uptick expected. That's huge. 10.4% is the actual month-over-month number there. Again, 0.1 expected there for durable goods orders. Again, ex-defense on the month-over-month number comes out 10.4 to the upside. Durable goods overall 9.2 versus 1.7% expected overall. The market kind of quiet here. I was keeping my eye on this one. AAPL, we'll get to that in a second, but market kind of quiet here as we get going on a Thursday morning, back to basically flat on the morning after starting things to the downside. Couple of 2 days in a row here. Rally back to the upside, maybe a little bit of caution ahead of more earnings coming up after the close tonight. Big tech earnings, that is. We'll get Alphabet, we'll get Intel after the close tonight. A few things of note this morning, as I mentioned. AAPL, I'm surprised that one's not down a little bit more than it is currently, cutting their full year guidance, slashing basically everything. Earnings report was a bit of a miss, which is kind of a surprise because some of the other airlines have been strong.
I think they're all really worried, Brendo, about the economic climate going forward with tariffs and the demand, especially from this country. We're hearing a lot of Canadians cancel trips to the United States, and it's not small. It's we're talking about like 30-40% drop year over year, so we'll keep an eye on that. Lots to talk about today, Brendo. Tesla weaseling in robo-taxis for their employees, getting about 15,000 miles or about 1,500 trips under their belt there. IBM reported, Texas Instruments as well, and then China also in focus because the Minister of Finance or Commerce from that country saying there's no talks underway, there's nothing going on, so kind of contradicting some of the stuff we heard from Donald Trump and Scott Bessent, as well as Chipotle, Brendo, reporting there as well. A bit of a tough look there.
It's interesting that note on Tesla and the Cybercab comes out just days after they say we're still on track for June launch in Austin, Texas. Here's IBM, the other one, downside this morning, 6.3%, trying to bounce back a little bit here. Pretty ugly report for international business machines. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. That was quite the reversal on IBM.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
Because they did beat, and it was flying. The guidance was meh, but it's slowing growth, right? Like they're growing slower than before. And I have a bit of a theory as to why they'd sell that one off. Because if people are feeling a little bit better about the markets, which I think there's some optimism, deal making might come in despite China saying, hey, we're not talking. And then Trump's like, well, we might ease some Chinese auto tariffs. So you feel like we're getting there, and you're going to start to see some deals hopefully get through. But if money comes back into growth, and that gets a little bit back into favor, then I think like the Steady Eddie or type of names, some of that money might come out. So I think that could be weighing on IBM. Tesla, I mean, the market's flat. At least it was flat a couple of seconds ago. Now you're slightly down, like Tesla's slightly down, Nvidia's slightly up. Like there's nothing outside of the earnings names, there's nothing that's moving around a ton. So I'm looking at a lot of continuation from prior day, like key levels from yesterday. Day two earnings plays like Tesla and Nphase for sure. It's going to be a big one tonight when we get Alphabet because, you know, people always say, like, you got to watch out for that advertising spend because if people stop spending in advertising, it means they're anticipating a slowdown, and that could be bad for the overall economy. So that's a big one tonight for sure. But today, I think the key levels from tomorrow are going to be absolutely huge.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Randy.
What up, Randy?
It's Randy. Every time I see someone put in the chat, Randy Bo Bandy, all I think about is cheeseburgers and Trailer Park Boys.
Yes.
How was your drive in today?
Shitty.
Okay.
Wow.
Next topic. What was a lot of traffic or construction? It's construction season now, I feel like. There's more construction I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, here, Randy, there's a poll up today. If we go to the screen here, we're going to let Randy answer this. Today will be you just said shitty day, so that's fine. But that's, you know, what about green or red? What do you think? Ish? I'm going to go with my thought is red. So I'm going to vote red. I don't know. Palantir ripping here. I'm just writing down Palantir that I like the long there. But yeah, Tesla here, apparently there's some more robo-taxi talk here as some of their employees have been, No, trying out the robo-taxi. And apparently they have a couple.
Yeah, getting some money.
What is it, 100 rides? I'm not sure how many rides have been. 1,500. 100 times 15 is what I meant. Oh, Sharif is your robo-taxi. What are the rates?
How's that gonna work?
What are the rates like on that?
Does he know?
Can you?
He does now.
He does now. Okay.
I wonder. Can you ask for a quiet ride? I don't know. I don't know what. But you might get some Cyndi Lauper playing in the robo-taxi.
That's the added benefit is you get him singing some 80s songs.
Yeah.
Sharif is all about the 80s music, by the way. Just he always comes in like humming, singing 80s music. It's great.
Foo Fighters too.
Oh, Foo Fighters. Okay, a little bit of Foo Fighters. There's some roll action going on there.
Oh, yeah.
Invisible business model. That's a good one for IBM.
I like that one.
Randy, if you can grab me a coffee, man. I
last
think
night,
I got like 4 hours sleep or something last night. It's going to be a crazy one. Yeah, Palantir to the upside. Wow, 101 change now, 101.60, starting to really move again. Palantir says, what market going down? I mean, almost up 1% right now. This name just continues to climb higher. We had some good trades on this yesterday. Looked to catch some dip buys on Palantir here today. Our friend Intel, 21 bucks again. So, I mean, that 18 to 19 area on Intel just, even when it was down here last week, I was just like, it's probably another bought. I've already bought at this level. And it was just like, am I doing it again? But there it goes, man. Nice upside move there as we wait for their earnings. And of course, MBLY, Mobileye. I don't know what their holding still is in Mobileye, but that's helping Intel right now go to the upside here as there's no volume on Mobileye. I think this statement's been sort of left for dead for a minute there as well. But that's nice to see that battling back. So, yeah, it's going to be... I think it's going to be a flat day early. I mean, we do have on the watch list there, we have some numbers coming through today. Brendan just highlighted some there. Existing home sales.
That's a biggie.
Yeah, coming at 10 o'clock. A couple Fed's Kashkari. Actually, that's not till 5 o'clock.
The Kashkari is not till after the bell. We're good.
So we're okay there. And I guess Trump didn't throw too much water either way on the market last night, I guess, around that 5 o'clock mark, and there's not much going on. Nasdaq's trying to go higher. Maybe I should reverse my bet.
It was good news.
Market red.
There was good positive comments regarding auto tariffs, and we got that. And then all of a sudden, it's the China comments that I think have us like ho-humming here. Because when they're saying there have been no talks, we will fight to the end, that's still their line. And then you have the administration kind of looking like they're willing to deal. It's like, okay, well, who's right and who's wrong? So that ends up with us being very, very flat. On that Mobileye, by the way, Mobileye is ridiculously illiquid this morning.
I know, what the heck?
Like, I pulled it up, I'm like, oh, wow, 10% on Mobileye. This one made a hard bottom in here at like $12. It could be breaking the 50 period today. Looks like it could be like a break above 15 in the third. Then you pull up and you see 115,000 in volume. Very sparse liquidity. This will be on the, maybe it'll have liquidity at the open train, and Intel 100% will. If this continues, you'll get the sympathy play on Intel through 21. That's the way I kind of feel. So I might just use this as like some kind of a barometer, but it's so illiquid, Mobileye. I guess no one really trades that stock.
I was thinking about this on the way in, and it's true. We're almost green for the month right now. So this month is almost over. So everybody's like, hey, April, this is it right here. We got to get above 461. So this day right there is April 1st. So this candle right here. So to close, actually it's this one right here, 468 on the Qs. So we're getting close right there. We almost turned. So a little bit of a bump up today. If we can get up that 1 or 2%, I'm not sure exactly the percentage points that we're down for the month. Just heard in our ear Nvidia, but getting a bump off 100 bucks again. Look, there's going to be a lot of key levels here that come into play every single day. You just got to get there. So patience, waiting for the opportunity, waiting for a stock to trade, I think makes a little bit of sense. Look at the NASDAQ starting to bump higher right now. I was thinking about, oh, wow, Bo Bandy, that was fast, man. That was there's no lineup at the, we're not even done yet. Thank you, Randy. Oh, my.
Sometimes it's busy by the machine.
Robo taxi, robo coffee, it seems like. these days.
That's prompt.
Look at this move up there for Tesla, breaking through 251 right now, starting to go now up 0.6. All right, it looks like it's going to be a busy one here as the market right now starting to head upside. So that's great. Like the one thing we want to have for sure for me, anyways, is directional bias. And like Sharif asked me, like, what was I thinking there today? And about 20 minutes ago, I was like, I don't know. I actually didn't even really write anything down. I had some ideas, trying to figure stuff out. But now I think we can get on some Tesla bandwagon here, maybe, and then watch it at that 250 level. I mean, how key was that yesterday?
Yeah,
and we're bouncing off that this morning, basically. So I don't know. That's where VWAP is. It's always nice when a level matches with some sort of an indicator that you somewhat trust.
And even better if it mattered overnight. I'm loving this even more because if you look at where Tesla in last night was dumping, or not dumping, but selling on Blue Ocean, it was trying to break the 250 to the upside and fail, and then eventually broke down. So the overnight market did give us some signs that 50 was going to be key in the other way. So it's weird. Like on my note, I have 2 longs and 2 shorts ideas. One of them, I'm kind of Nphase. I really just feel as if even if the market's up, Nphase post earnings is going to be crap. But that 250 is so key. We bounced there at the end of the day, resistance in the overnight market, and then now you're running away from it. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be good. And just keep in mind, there's actually something I was talking about this with Obi. So there was a moment this morning where there was a truth from President Trump, and you could just see like the liquidity completely died down. Like the algo will stop making a book, and then the ones that buy based on the truth, it ended up having nothing to do with egg prices and whatnot. So the futures just instantly shorted it down. You have to be a little bit more wary of that. And I'm finding that if like some random thing stops you out of a trade and it's not moving anything else, sometimes you just gotta, in this market, punch right back in, especially the way the algos are pulling these bids. Another interesting fact is for anyone that's an active trader, middle of next month, the SEC fee is going to 0. And I think that's because they want to increase liquidity back again, which is great if you're really, really active. It's also good because I think you'll see better bids and asks from some of the algos. They'll be incentivized to keep their bids out there a little bit more and offers.
Is liquidity down?
Well, and look, I'm talking anecdotally because I'm just talking about like whenever we get anecdotally, whenever we see an economic number come out, whenever there's a tweet, whenever there's something like the bond auction, it's noticeable the way that the bid offer is just evaporating. And it's doing it in places and on stocks that I don't usually expect to see it. Well, I just think there's a little bit less, in those moments, less liquidity. Either way, SEC fee to 0 is going to be great, I think.
Yeah, right here. Day trader cut, gave $2 here. Invisible business model for IBM. IBM basically, it's not even that bad, really. It's not having a great year, but it's beating the S&P right now. IBM flat now on the year because this is January right here, January 1st-ish around here. I mean, give or take. And now you're back in. And you're still doing okay. Wait a minute. I thought IBM was, is it 229 right now? Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's actually still holding. I thought it was a little lower than that. So actually still holding on the year. So still up on the year right now, which is nice to see. Obviously that huge bump has given it all, not all back, but bouncing off the 200 period moving average. So if anything right now, down 6%, getting that opportunity to buy hopefully a good company at the 200 period moving average. So yeah, good one there. Day trader cut, invisible business model. I do like that, but I'm sure there's a business model there somewhere. I did not pay attention enough to the call. So, but I don't know, have they lost their way a little bit there with IBM? Who knows? We'll wait to see how the market reacts to that number. Was good early. There's that one tick. As Neil said, it went up. That's just the algos bought this thing up and then straight back into the downside. Texas Instruments, a little more impressive today as that was nearing 4-year lows down at 140, and it's so bad it's good. Texas Instruments, nice upside up to 167. So, all right, let's go back to the desk. I think we
have a weakness to keep in mind today on the consumer side of things specifically. We mentioned AAL. There's a few other ones that are a little bit questionable here today. Pepsi made the initial move downside here. They pulled their forecast. Procter & Gamble, another one, downside move right back up right now, but they also pulled their forecast. In addition to AAL, as we said, not a lot of action there as far as what the stock's doing right now. But I mean, all of them pointing towards the uncertainty aspect, as you mentioned, specifically for the airline. But I mean, I think there's a lot outside of airlines in general, just from consumers saying nobody's really sure of what's going to happen here?
Well, it's a couple things. Like if you're a consumer as well and you're hearing recession, you may change your spending habits, as well as the input costs for companies like Pepsi. A lot of different products are not made in the United States. They're not sourced in the United States. They're coming from abroad, and that obviously changes the calculus for them. If your input costs go higher, you better believe the company's not going to absorb that. They're going to pass it off to the consumer, and that's where we're going to see kind of that cycle, the price hike cycle, Brendo. So we'll have to wait and see, but interesting look today from both Procter and Pepsi.
Yeah, another one here I forgot, Love, Southwest, same thing. They pulled their guidance right through to 2026, explaining the simple fact of what we were just saying, that there's no way to tell at this point, which on one hand, from a corporate standpoint, is kind of safe, saying if you don't really know what's going to happen, why guide lower and then maybe even miss a lower guidance, which could be interpreted as even worse. Almost better to just say nothing at this point, guys.
All right, caught me writing my note. Caught Neil eating.
No, I agree with that. There was like some companies, you can go out there and do the dual guidance, like, well, if this happens, this is our guidance for this scenario, and this is our guidance for the other. But simply just saying we don't, like, I love the answer, I don't know. I think if it takes a lot of courage to say, hey, just throw your hands up. Like, look, there's too much uncertainty for us to give you a fair representative take of what we think things are going to look like for the next year, because the range of outcomes are too big. Because I don't know, like if I'm not investing in any airlines. I've told you how I feel about the airlines. They're trades and they're not investments to me, but that's just me. But if you're invested in one of these, at least you should be happy that management's realistic. It's a good sign that you're based in a sense of reality and you're grounded there and not thinking that, hey, we'll be able to, we're going to weather the storm. We'll be absolutely fine in all this uncertainty. No, just tell it like it is. As far as LUV goes, to be honest, I didn't really think this would be that much of a trade when it wasn't moving around. I usually want the travel names when they're going to really be going, like 5, 10%, and LUV is only 3% here. So it's probably not a trade for me, but I do like the fact that they're not guiding. I think that's smart.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very, very risky here. Here's AAL. But I think it's just the market in general right now. We had Caroline Levitt. We have Adair dropping different tidbits to us every day throughout the day. And it's, there's going to be a deal. There's not going to be a deal. Fed Chair Powell has a job. He doesn't have a job. I want to fire him. I don't want to fire him. He's a loser. He's a winner. It's just, it goes back and forth. And it's just American Airlines. If you're going to look at companies, I don't really think you want to fight the trend for a lot of these names. That's why some of these plays that we talk about when we talk about the 200-period moving average, you want to look for names that are hovering around that area because they haven't been, really taken out yet. And if you haven't been taken out yet, then you may not get taken out. And what I mean by that is negatively, right? And I look at a name like GE that reported yesterday, get away from the tech space a little bit and just try to diversify. GE Aerospace, great name, great move higher yesterday. So, go to companies that are showing you good earnings, have a pipeline in front of them, and don't need to worry about all these daily sort of back and forth rhetoric that I guess, because they're headlines, but they're just talk, until there's a deal done. Do we really think China's going to be the first country to make a deal? I don't think so. We don't even have one with Canada. We don't, there's nothing going on yet as far as, anything officially done in the water. I just want to wait for China and the United States to say something that would really rally the market. But I want to hear from other countries as well. And I want to hear some positive talk. We got it yesterday with Fed Chair Powell, hopefully having his job until at least May, when it'll be up, May of 26. It'll be due and up for re-election again. I'm not even sure how many terms these guys can go through, but...
No, he's gone next year.
Yeah, okay. So
he's out next year regardless.
It's just... waiting around for these headlines seems a little foolish, and I feel a little silly not trying to buy some of those dips over the last couple of weeks because, as I said, April's almost all the way back to positive land again. So if we could just clear up some of this and get through earnings season,
Yes.
Right? Like that's the whole thing.
Unscathed.
Yeah, we'll see what, like Texas Instruments, that was good.
Lamb was
up
good.
7%. Lamb was good. ASML had to move higher, right? The banks settled down now and finally seem to be starting to go longer. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. Tesla, had a bad quarter, stock went up. So it's this kind of thing. And then tonight we'll get a real good read on the first hyperscaler when we'll get Alphabet, and that should be...
Keep spending Alphabet.
Yeah, that should be something there. I mean, if their spending has gone to the wayside, or if YouTube misses for some reason, then they're going to be pretty hurt, I would say. Oh, what was YouTube's anniversary? 20-year anniversary for YouTube yesterday. Google probably bought that thing for $1 billion. It's probably worth $1 trillion. I wish it was worth $1 trillion.
20 years, that's...
All right, yeah, that seems about right, though. I feel like if you think about some of the things you've been watching on YouTube, 20 years goes by so fast. How many weeks are there in a human's life?
What?
4,000.
Oh, because, 80, yeah.
Doesn't that seem like...
That's kind of, when you said that, I was like, I was thinking, how many weeks has YouTube been around?
There's some book about 4,000 weeks or something.
4,000 weeks.
Yeah. So you don't want to let any of them...
I hope to live longer than that.
You don't want to live... I mean, 4,000 weeks. Hold on a second. Well, no, we know the math. Times 7, 28,000 days divided by 365.
Yeah, 52 times 12.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 77 years that would put you at. I think, yeah, we can go longer than that.
I want to live longer.
Hold on, that's for 5,000 weeks. All right.
That's the average age.
I think that's why. I think it must be the median birth or death rate there for North America, I would think. It's higher for men. Men is lower. Women live longer.
Yes. Oh, we're dumb.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I'd rather. I want my wife to outlive me. That is for damn sure. All right, what's going on, Adara?
Read there.
Upgrades and downgrades. Worth noting as well, Fed's Hammock actually speaking on CNBC right now, so just be aware. But also be aware of these upgrades and downgrades. Oppenheimer upgrading Lennox this morning. We have Wolf Research upgrading Stifel. Deutsche Bank with an M&T Bank upgrade here today, giving them a $210 price target. And Edwards Life Sciences, this day one earnings play with a Piper Sandler upgrade. Downgrade side of things, we have Apple getting a downgrade from B of A Securities, still with a pretty hefty $240 price target. And we have GE Vernova, this one up on the day as of right now, but getting a downgrade from TD Cowen. TD Cowen also responsible for the other downgrades on this list, Knight Transportation and Lam Research. LRCX actually up right now on earnings day one. Back to you.
We're going to downgrade Lam, huh? We just said they had a good report, beat top bottom, guide good as well on Lam, up 5 points, and you're going to slap the old downgrade. I guess we don't want to get through the 72 resistance on Lam, everybody, and want to buy it in the 60s. But yeah, look, Lam, it's actually tradable. The volume's not that good, but it's tradable since the split, only being at $70. And we like these splits. Netflix, we're looking at you. You should be next. I don't know how much I care about the downgrade, but I did say that anytime Lam reports or ASML, AMAT to a certain extent, and we get the same thing. We get the same thing sometimes with like the Samsungs of the world. It's a good barometer, like how it behaves is a good barometer for the chip sentiment today. So as long as it's strong, I feel pretty good. HK Hynix, I had some numbers last night. That looked pretty good as well. So like I like AMD, and we'll get to the chips, but I mean I like AMD off that 90 level because it was holding. We talked about Intel already, if it can take out that 21 with the Mobileye thing helping. But I don't like that as much if Lam starts giving it up. If the earnings name in the chip space, the big one from last night, if they start giving it up and that goes red, I think it's difficult to want to hold on to the long thesis. Even if something's like if AMD is still above like 90, right? Like if it's holding that line, but Lam is going red, I'd think twice about how aggressively I'd want to be long, something like that. I think you got to use that as a barometer. That's the one. It's a bit weird. I mean, they had a good quarter, and you're going to stop the downgrade now. At these prices? Interesting.
I mean, the whole key to this market is right here, American Rebel Holdings. If we can get AREB going, then watch to see this market fly. No, this is up 15% here, and all kidding aside, I do think that there's a decent opportunity to trade this name today. I'm actually going to be on the sticky note today, down to $3 right there. I think this is a decent area to look to maybe get some long here on AREB. The market's not going to go up unless AREB goes up. So we'll wait to see what happens down here in and around $3. Good volume today, 9.5 million shares already. It's only 8.55. So this name wants to get going today. It was well traded yesterday. I think Sharif and the midday guys were on this, AREB. And we got a couple of super chats for this yesterday as well. There was some breaking news. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I actually wanted to find out the details of this name. So here we go, going to here. I just want to see what the short float is, just to give people an idea, and for myself as well. Here, it's only small, 3.35%. But again, the float pretty light with only 2 million shares. So if they only have 2 million shares on the float and you're already done 10, this should be another interesting day here for American Rebel. So we'll see if that can get going from $2 up to $4 yesterday. That's a double. We pull back into 3 before getting going again there this morning. So we'll see if the market wants to, and the traders here on the retail side want to keep trading AREB today, and we'll get some of that AREB money and put it into AREB very, very soon.
There it is. I was waiting for that specifically.
Yeah, well, I'm in the building.
That song's a joy. The beat's
that's probably 20 years old now when we go. So, all right.
Shut up, Buster.
Too soon. Oh, Fed's President Hammack reportedly said it's too soon to change rates due to economic impact related to uncertainty, blah, blah, blah. So, not much movement on the market here. All right, it's 8:56, man. Look, 35 minutes, 30 minutes until imbalances. We'll have a look at those, but let's go back over to the desk.
A couple other notable movers here so far this morning. A lot of people were wondering what the China outcome would be for some of the casinos. LVS, one of those, really not doing anything at this point. 0.3 to the upside, very, very light on the volume side. They did beat earnings, 59 cents versus 57 cents, despite reporting significant weakness coming out of Macau. But as far as the forecast was concerned, kind of in line with expectations. So that was a bit of a surprise. There's also earnings in the pharmaceutical area of the world, both Merck and BMY. Reporting as well, downside for BMY, MRK, about the same right now. It's kind of choppy back and forth. Was initially downside here, but a forecast for both a little bit underwhelming for either of those.
And you know what I'm going to say about this, Brendo? Tariffs. That's what they're concerned about here, especially for BMY. So let's talk about, they said companies are considering a product shift. They're also in talks for import tariff exemptions with the Trump administration. And Merck included about $200 million, Brendo, in tariff impact in their forward outlook. The levies, they say, could disrupt the supply chain as well as the patient's access to drugs. And so they're putting out that warning there. And kind of flat here to start the day, down 0.06.
Yeah, I mean, not really ones that move a heck of a lot on earnings reports. We'll keep an eye on all of those. And there's a ton to know as far as things that are moving around here. Let's get a look at the overall market, and we'll get right into what you need to know this morning.
54.02, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES June contract. We're kind of dancing with it right now. We're essentially at the closing print. 54.04, was yesterday's close. We're at 54.02 with the overnight high being that 54.20. So here's the deal. We got up to 5,500 yesterday and we rejected it. Kind of not surprised about that. It's a 100-point level. We're still putting in higher lows. So we're looking at 5,500 again. If we catch a bid as resistance, the overnight low, 53.55. So essentially, we'll say 53.50 as support.
As always, if you haven't done so yet, jump down to the description of this video right now. Top link in the description is for the watch list. It will get you to the sign-up page, and then you get that sent right to your inbox every single day. All you need is your email address. It's free, so do that. 250 here, a thing, apparently, for Tesla right now this morning. There's a couple of analyst notes this morning, kind of wishy-washy. Tesla overall, we were talking about the Cybercab.
Yep.
Higher than expected, I think, on that number. The employee-related tests, I would have been all over that if they were offering me free trips back and forth to work. 100%. But still targeting June, as we said, for the Austin launch, which is going to be interesting to track. Waymo doing really, really well in Austin, but some possible tariff exemptions here too.
Yeah, hopefully, Brendo. Let's talk about this ride-hailing service that Tesla's put out preemptively over here. So they announced their supervised FSD ride-hailing service, now active for employees only at the Austin and the San Francisco Bay Area locations. Performance to date, sorry, production team, I didn't get the chance to set this up, so you're going to have to put up with this for a second here. 1,500 trips completed, Katina, man. About 15,000 miles driven, according to the reports over here. So not a bad look. What the demo showed was that they released a video, by the way, on their X account, Tesla AI. They showcased the user interface of the ride-hailing app. They also showed features like the vehicle assignment, trip booking, mission control operations, and they say that the rollout helps develop and validate, Brendo, key systems including that FSD neural network and the remote assistance and app functionality. So I want to see how this plays out in real life. Super pumped.
I want to hear ASAP. Tesla 0.5% already green here and continuing to the upside, guys.
That story. I like any possible auto tariff exemptions that are coming down the line. That's not going to be considered a bad thing. I can't remember last time that Tesla had earnings and on the daily chart, you actually couldn't tell. Like if you didn't, we all know that they reported yesterday, but if you just look at this chart and then said you had no clue when are the earnings reports, like generally you'll see a big spike day, you'll see a huge volume spike, and it'll be pretty obvious. You have a very muted day with sellers at 260 and kind of an inside move, but there was plenty of volatility early on Tesla yesterday. It just didn't seem to get anywhere. I do like the fact we've reestablished 250. I mean, that level only held late in the day, and then we showed in the overnight market it was resistance. I think that can turn into support today with some of that good news. But it's hard not to look at this 260 and temper your expectations. You couldn't break through 260 yesterday. You couldn't break through 260 last week. Even when they had rinsed a lot of longs out there and there should have been some smooth sailing, there was just no breakthrough. So I think you have to temper the expectations of how far it's going to go, because 60 seems like a bit of a brick wall. But it's an over-under for me at that 250. If it can hold 250, great. And then unlike yesterday, if it tries to fill in the gap, it doesn't get to 243, then any trade has to be, like for me, a mean reversion trade. It cannot be a falling knife trade. It has to break the trend, which sometimes means you're not in here, you're in here. You know, that's a little bit of a difference for me, but it never filled in that entire gap. First things first, has to hold 250. If that breaks, it's got to be something very convincing for a turn.
We had to wait yesterday before we found a bottom. So I feel like today, I just written it down here on the sticky notebook. Today, we should be able to get the sticky notes arriving today from Amazon. 248 to 250 long. This level held yesterday, and I'll show that to you. I mean, Neil just kind of talked about it. It's day 2 play here. Yeah, and it looks like there's some positive headlines, right? I mean, I like the fact that maybe the robo-taxi is closer than we think, so that's nice. Nice to hear that it's been successful on some of these trips. But at the end of the day, we need Tesla to hold, and there's 248 right there. The reason why I wrote 250 to 248 is I still like the 250 as a psychological level, and that's where VWAP is right now. So there's that dip down yesterday that we had to sort of work through and got hit early off a 250 bid, only to find the long down there and then rip it up, which was really great. And Tesla was a gem to trade in the afternoon if you're looking short off of, again, another well-defined level of 258. So you have 258, 248. Both these levels look pretty good to me. If we can get up here, it looks like a short. If we can get down here, it looks like a long. The only problem is, if it does get to 248, where do you hold it to? My answer is nowhere. I'm going to be out if we break 248, because then you get into the levels that where easy trading starts to happen, because you can really put on a max position here. If you get any kind of 246 to 245 area, like that could be 1,000 shares, something like that. Like you could just put it on and wait to see. And again, when I talk about that, my 1,000 shares might be someone else's 10 shares. But at the end of the day, you have to make a decision here on Tesla if you're going to trade it. It's coming back in. I like that 248 level. Between 250 and 248 could be something. It's just, it's going to be real quick. And I heard Neil say it too, I don't want to make a decision that quickly on Tesla. Like I want to let it settle down and see if we can't catch a dip buy bid that winds up holding. To sit there and watch this happen is not going to happen to me today. But again, yesterday was day one earnings. So we got the flush. Everybody that didn't like the number was able to sell it. Then it got bought right back up. So, I like the stock today, and I think it holds. I think it holds in and around this area, right in and around here, 248 to 250. So first bid, I will catch a falling knife here at 248.50 or so, and then just get out of it if it breaks 248. But that would be my first bid. 250 is just an area of interest for me. Let's see if it can wind up holding it. But Tesla is on the watch today, so that means that it's most likely something that I'll be trading. Tesla 250, that's its first area, but 248 is where I'm actually bidding.
Let's talk about IBM. Downside here this morning coming off their earnings report to the tune of about 7%. We're actually turning back downside even more right now. The earnings, set that aside for a second. Let's focus on the simple fact that this was the one company that actually said they're not really concerned about tariffs and made a point of actually saying, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. That's literally actually what they said. The analysts echoed that as well. Yeah. Analysts basically saying they're largely insulated from tariffs. So let's talk about how they did. As you mentioned, Brendo, down over 6% here in the pre-market. The decline follows news that 15 different federal contracts, Brendo, were suspended, resulting in about $100 million loss in consulting revenue, specifically consulting revenue. That's tied to the cost-cutting measures under the Trump administration, by extension of that DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. Just allow me a second over here to put this on all windows. The suspended contracts account for only a small percentage of their total consulting backlog, but it does signal vulnerability in its government contracts and the large enterprise client base. Consulting revenue fell about 2% year over year. Despite this, IBM reaffirmed its full year 5% revenue growth target for 2025. And as you mentioned, they talk about how they're largely insulated from tariffs and global tensions, which enhances its appeal to some analysts. But Morgan Stanley, that is, warns that software growth now faces a tougher year-over-year comparisons because software had a really good year last year. AppLovin, other names as well, really high.
Yeah, just worth a note here. Apple not doing anything, but there was a note on Apple from the information saying they're planning on increasing iPhone production in India by around 10% this year. India made 30 to 40 million iPhones last year, so 10% increase for them to this year.
Well, more than 10%, more in India. I think that's only going to be a good thing for them. I think a deal's going to get done a lot faster in India than it will in China. I think that's not really saying much. IBM can be as insulated as they want, and they can be as confident as they want. And when I was making that comment about the whole don't do any guidance and it's a brave thing to do, and it's good to say you don't know something, I wasn't taking a shot at IBM per se, but they were ridiculously confident. That being said, there's no way to look at these candles and look at that reaction yesterday. You all saw it live when we were watching the aftermarket show. It was absolutely cruising. It goes right into this triple top area and tries to break out the top end of it. And then the sellers came in mass. We had people thanking us for just simply showing the chart of the resistance. And it's like, I'm not shorting it live when we're talking about this. And it completely dumped. And it's holding the lows. It's not like it's really even bouncing here. So I think the 3-day rule is big time in effect here, regardless of those numbers, because the price action is telling you, hey, we're not feeling this regardless of what they say. Now, the 200 period sits at 222. That does give it a chance at a trade down there today. It wouldn't be short sell. It wouldn't be SSR till it gets closer to 220, but that would be an area to look for an SSR bounce on IBM. That's about the only thing I'd want to do with this thing today in terms of a trade. SSR bounce somewhere in the 220 range if it goes 10% to the downside. I'm not catching this falling knife, and only because it's not on the list. You're like, well, if you're saying that, why wouldn't you short it? I'd rather short day 2 play Nphase. Nphase was pretty much it went right into that prior support, wicked it, and then took out 50 and then trended down. So I'm looking continuation short on Nphase today, 46.5. That'll be the price. Look for a gentle uptrend or something along those lines, or a consolidation underneath it, and then try to get into the short on Nphase, which I'm just for myself. I always. Yeah, we have free locates on Nphase. Always just try to check here. You never really know. You want to pay for the locates before you want to execute the trade. So I'm staying away from IBM unless we see 220, that SSR bounce. The earnings play, I like day 2 plays more than day 1 here. And I want to short Nphase into 46.5.
Nvidia trying to make things 3 in a row, 3 days in a row to the upside here. We're already up 0.75%. There's really no significant news on this today, but it has definitely been relatively strong, leading this entire group to the upside. Keep in mind, Intel coming up after the close tonight, along with Google on the earnings side, but one to watch here today, maybe.
Yeah, and they got a big boost yesterday when we heard that Donald Trump saying, you know, that the China deal or the possible China deal was coming a lot closer than we had expected. Threw cold water on that this morning when we woke up and got the response from the Chinese. I believe it was the finance minister or interior minister basically saying nothing's going on, no back channels, no nothing. In any event, it looks like here Mizuho Securities analyst Vijay Rakesh basically saying we continue to see Nvidia as the leader in merchant silicon for AI despite some recent headwinds around the H20. That's their China-specific chip, guys. He wrote he kept that outperform rating and that $168 price target that he had previously, which is a significant upside from the 103 it's trading at right now, Brendo.
Yeah, I mean, definitely better than the market here right now. A little bit of a pullback here, guys, but holding on to some of the late afternoon levels for sure.
A huge trade on Nvidia at some point, and that's the next time it tests $100. So I'm going to lose a lot of money or hopefully make a lot of money. I mean, I want to look at this $100 level for Nvidia again. I mean, we gapped through it. We don't have any really reference point here for that level. So I just want to get this back in. Like, if this can come, I don't like, look, I mean, obviously we're thinking about longs. I am anyways today, right now. So I wrote down again on the book here that if we do get a major flush, and it doesn't have to be that big, just Nvidia has to go down 3%, right? You're at 103 right now. So if that gets into 100, it's got to lose $3 on 100. So you got to get red on Nvidia. Will that happen? Yeah, I mean, there's a good possibility that we do have that move down. I mean, we saw even early yesterday, this is what this looked like off the open. It went from 99, and then we got down to $95. Sorry, not yesterday, 2 days ago. And then even, you know, big moves here. So you could get $3 on Nvidia. So that's kind of the levels that I'm looking at. That this is yesterday, of course, where you opened up at 104. And we didn't even have that much movement down yesterday, but we still got to 102.50. So if you lose about $1.50, $2 on this, that puts you back down into this 101 area. And that's where I said I'd start looking at it, between 100 to 101, build that level. And then if we break, you still have 99.50. So I think that would be sort of my white flag area, that if we get into here and start to really lose the bid, then we probably have to make a decision, and it would probably be to sell in and around 99, 99.50 to be wrong on our long. So for me, that is the trade on Nvidia, because it says that on there. I have the #1 trade idea for me today, and you know I'll be using this with some shares if it can come in, is going to be Intel. And I know they report tonight, and I don't necessarily like to get long on names day of earnings or even day after earnings, despite what we did on Tesla yesterday. This dropping into somewhere here around 2060 to 2050, if we can get anything like yesterday's closing price, then I want to be involved with Intel. And I understand that that's going to be a problem now, because when we're writing these ideas down, you're only 30 cents away from getting that fill. Now we've taken a move higher, and I'm not sure Intel gives that to us, but yesterday, it did have a nice drop there. I mean, we're just one headline away from getting prices that we want. That's 50 cents right there in about 20 minutes. So if we got 50 cents right here at any time, then that would be a load up zone for me. So it's written on here. I like it. Yesterday's closing price, take the trade. Obviously, there's the Mobileye story with it as well. So we'll just trade Intel long today and see if we can hold in and around. I mean, here's 2050. That's the bottom. So worst case scenario, we're able just to get out, hopefully with a 20-cent hit or something like that, right? So we're looking to bid and get long in and around that 20.5 mark, using that as our support. To me, these two trades, Nvidia and Intel, are both worth almost maximum amount of shares you can do because the out is very, very defined and you're trading things that are positive. And if they go red, then they go red. We're here to trade and take a shot. So I like Intel down here. If we ever get anything, you know I'll be sweating that one out because I'll be long probably around $20.65 or something like that. So thank you, Adrian, for trusting in these plays.
And remember, guys, Intel still has majority ownership in Mobileye, so some of the gap up is because of that. It can be, like, if Mobileye does something crazy off the open to the downside, I'd be a little bit wary of Intel because it'll probably follow along, and Mobileye's not been trading a lot of volume early, so whatever happens at the open could have a dramatic effect. I feel like sellers come in, there hasn't been much of a bid or ask on that stock. I like AMD today. It's at $90 level that it broke away from. You didn't get to trade this at $90 unless you were into the pre-market or waiting till it had already pulled back in at noon. So everything long yesterday was kind of chasing it above, and it was good. It's just you missed out. And we closed just above it at like 90 and a third or so, and you can see resistance to support. So this is the over-under for me. Like if we don't hold 90, then once this gets under the prior low in the pre-market here, like 89.5, you give it up. It's too much of a gap fill, I think, in the other direction. Just to show you, Mobileye did beat. They're hanging out. They're actually up a little bit more than this before, but 9% to the upside on exceeding extremely light volume here for Mobileye. So if you're paying attention to Intel, having this on the back burner to see what it's doing can matter.
I'll talk about some airlines here real quick. VinFast, our friends over at VinFast, another earnings name here. Surprisingly, didn't really talk a lot about the possibility of tariffs and the effect of tariffs going into the U.S. They do have multiple states now covered by dealerships and sales as well. But this one, as far as EVs are concerned, on a daily chart anyway, is holding up a little bit stronger possibly. VinFast delivering 97,399 EVs in 2024, up almost 200% year over year. Q4, 53,139, up 143% from Q3. Total 2024 revenue up 58%, topping almost $2 billion US, 1.8 billion US for VinFast as well. They're still talking about expansion, further expansion going into 2025. Very ambitious outlook right across the board. So VinFast not really doing a lot, no significant volume here in the pre-market, but nice looking daily chart. Possibly looking to break higher on the other side of things. Airlines, not so much. We've given all of that back, that strong move that we had going into the end of 2024 for AAPL. Love, another one with earnings today looking equally terrible.
Yeah, those charts don't look good, Brendo. And I want to say that VinFast also has plans to build in North America.
Yeah.
So they could be tariff protected going into the future. Let's talk about American Airlines here. So they did pull their 2025 financial guidance, citing economic unpredictability. This moves follows similar actions by Southwest, as you mentioned, Alaska Air as well, reflecting an industry-wide volatility. The issue is here, carriers are grappling with weakened consumer confidence and what they call discretionary travel cutbacks as tariff-induced uncertainty and recession risks mount. Now, with how they performed in the quarter, it was a net loss of $473 million, or about 72 cents per share, well wider than that Q1 2024 $312 million loss. Revenue also down year over year, $12.55 billion, and the previous full-year EPS forecast, $1.70 to $2.70, now withdrawn, as I mentioned, due to instability and demand unpredictability. Cost pressure and labor costs, Brendo. Some of the headwinds here. The airline is contending with higher labor costs driven by those new union contracts that were signed last year. These fixed costs are further pressuring margins at a time when the demand volatility is making route planning and pricing a little unpredictable.
I mean, the demand side still the positive at this point, but yeah, a lot of question marks for airlines, guys. If we do need, I mean, so this is Southwest. We're right at the lows right now on a daily chart at 24 here. If we do need something that's weak, it's going to be these.
Yeah, look, well, actually, I mean, I like Nphase because they're just as bad. Like, actually, no, the solar names are worse than the airlines, I think, over the last little bit. But you're right. They're incredibly weak. I might say something a little bit different for the higher time frame, though. So back in January, I drew a trend line on AAL. It broke the trend, and it's now back at the bottom. But it is at the bottom. And after reporting, you had an 850-ish low. Yeah, it might actually be exactly $8.50. And then the higher low holding $9 today. I think as long as you follow that 3-day rule, if it doesn't break the low on this report and in this uncertainty, then I think this is going to turn into a good shot at a long. I don't like the like I've said it before, I think they're only trades and swing trades, generally speaking, and I wouldn't want to touch it for any kind of a long-term hold. It's just not my jam. I think a lot of times you can get these in great range-bound opportunities where it'll just trend for a while one way or the other. So when it breaks one trend, you start another, and it can be really good trading the airlines and the cruise lines that way. And it feels like we're in an area after earnings. If it holds a low, there's only one place to go. And that would be up, not up forever, because that's not how they roll. See, it's like an airplane. They go up, they come down and land somewhere, and they just got to take off again. But it doesn't mean you want to stay in it the entire time, unless you're on an Air Canada flight and get accidentally left overnight, like that lady did that got stuck on the plane.
I don't know anything about that story. What was it?
So, well, she fell asleep or something.
Oh, okay.
And then, obviously, let's just say the staff didn't do their job in making sure everyone was off the plane before they locked up. So she's stuck overnight in this plane, like freezing her butt off. I think her phone was dead or something. Whatever. She's probably going to get a bunch of money from the airline, but you don't want that to happen to you.
No, so sleeping aids, you got to wake up from those. All right, so, instead of picking and choosing, we just sort of highlighted AAL there. I've talked about this Jets ETF a lot. Every time we talk about airlines, I've never invested in any of them. Doesn't mean that they're not good investments, but I'm always going to look back and say the 17 was the low right there. And that was back in August, right? And so we had a huge move, as Brendan suggested, into the end of the year. At the beginning of the year, it's just been horrible for this, which is not great because oil is not necessarily at high prices. That can generally affect the ETF, but airlines in general, which would affect the ETF. But if there's some concern here, just honestly, just about travel in general. Like, people are nervous right now, leaving their countries, I guess, and just worried about, like, not that you're not going to be allowed back into your country or anything like that, but I just feel that with a potential recession being talked about, with some of the uncertainties in the world. I mean, we even hear people around here, they don't really want to travel to the U.S. as much anymore, just because of some of the risks that are associated with filling out different paperwork. Like, now, how long are you going to be here for? And it makes sense. It's national security, so I'm down with it. I just think that it does affect, obviously, people's travel plans, as they're more nervous now than they ever have been, I feel like. Especially here in Canada in relationship to the U.S. It's not like it's a very strong one. So we'll have to wait to see what happens with these ETFs, and I'm not a buyer of them right now. AAL, going to be a mover today. There's a lot of you that are probably short at higher prices waiting for this report, and it's flat on the day. So not much action down there. We'll see if it can hold this $9 mark. I mean, it's been a great long. I would say try it at $9. If it breaks, you can get out. There's probably going to be decent size over there. This is a NASDAQ name. We only have one more thing to do, China. So let me just quickly see what the imbalances look like right now. We're not going to get AAL on here. See if there's any other airlines that are traded in New York that we see, and I don't see any right here. So pretty mixed bag so far here today. A Bombardier, but they're more maker, I guess, not an airline. That's about it. So there's really nothing. There's CMG was a name that we had talked, they reported. Wow. Chipotle's back to flat now, by the way. So look at that move for Chipotle right now. That honey chicken is, I guess, people liking that. Gold right here. We'll see what happens to that today. But yeah, basically a very muted board here where I can't even find any names that are of interest. So we'll have to wait for another 2 minutes to get the NASDAQ imbalances. All right, let's go find out more about what this China downgrade's all about, or downside.
Gapping down this morning after a couple of days back to the upside here. I mean, back and forth continues between Xi and Trump. The latest, essentially, they're not going to budge, it seems like. Anyways, I mean, we were talking 24 hours ago, sitting here, the simple fact that Trump seemed to be changing his narrative a little. Tariffs are going to come down significantly on China. At which point, to what number, remains to be seen. But They didn't even have to have a conversation, and that happened.
They're using the media as a proxy here, Brendo, talking to each other through the media. So let's talk about what happened here. The Chinese Minister of Commerce declared there are absolutely no trade negotiations ongoing with the U.S. Ministry spokesman He Yandong said any reports of progress should be dismissed outright. China's stance is as follows. Talks will only happen if treated as an equal, and the U.S. removes the unilateral measures like Trump's new tariffs. So keep that in mind. Analysts here are a bit mixed. Now, they say China is pivoting from meeting U.S. demands to protecting its own core interests, basically a what I need approach versus a what you need approach. The emphasis here, Brendo, is on internal markets and redirecting those export-focused production inwards or to other partners. And China here basically is threatening countermeasures, guys, right, against nations who align with the U.S. against its interests. So that expands this kind of conflict a little bit wider.
Yeah, from a technical standpoint, we're breaking some key levels here. JD, possibly the most obvious. If you go to a daily chart, there's a significant 30-ish level that we're clearly gapping through here to the downside this morning.
Yeah, I think JD looks like, it feels like a short to me, but I want to stick with Alibaba because some of the levels have been really good when looking at the overnight session in China. And if you look at Blue Ocean data here for yesterday on Alibaba, there was a very, very clear 120 level that stood out. And I'll get to what happened off that level yesterday in a second. But you can see we basically just sold off underneath $120 last night in the overnight session, and the night before. It was a clean and obvious clear resistance level. So going back over to the US or our session yesterday, right at the open, you broke away from 120 and then a complete failed breakout where afternoon resistance was right back underneath the 120 level. So that's it. We get to 120, that's the short on BABA. I do agree with this flat bottom look on JD, so I can't argue with that whatsoever. JD.com has not been doing as well. You're losing a major support level in here. I think that can even be like maybe when you close underneath a level like that, I think you start looking for like a swing long, not just a day trade. So it's a big critical day here for JD. I like BABA, $120, 2 days in a row. It's been a very, very key price level. So let's see if it can do it again.
Yeah, so I was just dealing with something here, but FXI, I mean, I always look at this ETF, but Alibaba is really the best trading vehicle. There's a lot of traders that, it's a tech name, so Alibaba seems to be a good one. Not much action happening today on FXI. I'm probably going to leave it alone. I'm not actually too interested in the China trade whatsoever here today, other than looking at individual names. Like if Alibaba can come into some levels, then as we just discussed, maybe something there. Really disappointing again, honestly. I'm going to hit the fail button. I mean, there's not...
Sleepy.
Yeah, like the market feels like me today. If we get, like, as I said, man, when we first stepped in here, I was very uncertain of a feel on a direction, and that's never a good thing for early trade. I mean, we're still going to trade, and we're going to trade actively, but this is not giving me any reason to do anything. Intel was just on here, but not really. Now it's gone. So there's, we often see Nvidia at least 400,000, Apple a couple 100,000, something. Oh, okay, finally. Tesla, 77,000. What is that? Someone's default to trade? Like these are not levels. These are not big buys or sells. So right now, not getting too much directional movement here off of any of these imbalances. So thanks, Fabian. We're pretty much done the rundown right there. Look, just looking for names. So what I'm looking at here, if I go back over to the list right here, I'm going to have Intel long at 2050. So INTC. These bids are already out. So right now I'm already bidding down there. I actually think we're going to get it. I think Intel's going to flush. Palantir here as well. I think we're going to get all these right now because of my uncertainty in the market. I think we go flip-flop. So that would make sense if Palantir does come down there. Like $1 down for Palantir and I'm long. So that could happen immediately. We just talked about Tesla a little bit. I'm just running through my playbook real quickly for those of you that joined late. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. Tesla, I am bidding 248.50 right now. feel like that might even come in like even before the open. Like you just get one little flush right here in the next minute and a half. We could get that. So this position is definitely, it's a little bit shaky. So we'll have to wait to see if that fills. And then I have ARAB money down here. If we can get something like that around 3 to 310 or so, we like American Rebel into that area. And then the load the boat trade for me is Nvidia anywhere near 100. So those are the plays that I am looking at. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, actually, look, I mean, I have a couple of shorts that I do like, even though the market is relatively strong. I just feel as if Chinese names don't matter as much to the overall market. We already talked about Alibaba and Nphase, looking for the continuation short after the fail break yesterday. AMD, I'm not putting, after yesterday, I don't want to have bids on Tesla at the open, but the 90 on AMD, which AMD is actually going up going into the open here, just broke 91.5. We'll be patient with it. We did chase it a bit yesterday to grab longs at 92 instead of back at 90. If that happens again, joining a trend is absolutely fine. I like Tesla on the dip, but I'd rather take a trend reversion if it dips as opposed to trying to get caught on that bid. Don't want to have a repeat of what happened in yesterday's trade. Remember, if you're watching Intel, Mobileye didn't do a lot of liquidity off the open, so be careful. See how that one does do. Let's get it going on this Thursday. Big day for earnings. Adara in 2 and 1. Let's ring it.
All right, thanks, Adara. And yeah, welcome to everybody here with us today. The U.S. markets are now open, as are many worldwide. All right, so we'll just wait here and sit on this trade right now with Nvidia waiting for that. The name that we thought we could get into early was Tesla. That looks like it bounced clean, basically off our level of 250, but that's only a level that we were talking about. We knew that it wasn't going to be something that we wanted to buy early. Palantir as well. Look at the market. The market is flat, not doing anything early. So there's Tesla. Okay, here comes. I'm going to stay on Tesla. Oh, shoot, I just canceled my bid there by hitting escape. All right, I'm going to have to go back over to it now. But there's Palantir's coming in as well. There's Tesla, 248.50 coming in right now.
Yeah, there was a dip in AMD too, and I saw a dip in Nvidia, but not a lot on the
it just
chips.
bounced.
Nvidia doesn't even get to VWAP. You saw AMD a second ago. Tesla, all right, trying to be patient with this one. Let it go for a little bit. Baba not doing anything. Oh goodness, we didn't look at Apple. Just quickly, Apple broke out. Just went green at the open. Was on the trade plan, but always have Apple up just as a bit of a barometer, especially if you're trading some of the Chinese names. But it is making a strong move over there in AAPL. All right, AMD, are we getting this dip by? I guess maybe not. It just went down into 90, 70. That's not close enough to 90 to have gotten long, for me at least.
We missed by 30 cents on Palantir. It goes to $100.80 right there, and now it's gone. So. Well played, Palantir, well played. Tesla, GG. We wrote down 248.50, man. The low on that one right there, 249.20. So missed that. So we missed both things basically just by not being aggressive enough. And it's not like we had written down here, I mean, oh man, Tesla 248 to 250, as if the bottom is the middle of that. Oh, that's crazy. So all we had to do again was follow our own rules. But I had talked myself out of it, so such is life. All right, so let's just look at that. We're now looking at 258 on Tesla. Hopefully that can come in. And of course, Intel disappoints us. It doesn't do anything.
Mobileye did dump off the open a bit. It's trying to recover.
Yeah, so I wonder about Intel's holdings there in Mobileye. I don't know how many shares they have because it's not really moving at all based off that. So that's interesting. I mean, we know they're majority stakeholder. Well, that's what our note says, anyways. I thought they divested.
I'm sure they had divested some of it. I don't know. I didn't know how much. I just read a note saying they're still majority, so I take that as it is. But Mobileye apparently filled in the entirety of the gap and is trying to bounce back here. So. And still no liquidity. I'm glad we're not on that. I feel like if I had tried to grab it would be nasty. Bit of a topping tail here in Intel. What are you doing? Why is Tesla the only thing that's like ramping right now?
Well, Palantir is ramping.
Okay, yeah, so I'm just looking at Nvidia, AMD, Mobileye, Intel just pulled back in there. Tesla, I don't think we're gonna get this shot to fill in the entirety of the gap. If we close this open range above 250, then have to start looking at that. That was the opposite of yesterday. Yesterday, it was down, 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 down. If you tried to get the early bounce, you were smoked. Today, it just goes in one shot off that 250 level. So we'll have to try to buy a dip if we can. AMD is coming right back in.
AMD is a huge move down, right?
Right to that, yes, coming back into that 90 level.
What is it doing?
And Minnesota Trader like 91.70 short this morning. I think you said 91.70.
Yeah, 91.60 is perfect high.
Like it went to 91.60. It's coming into that 90 level. I haven't gotten Nphase. I understand it went up, but Nphase did not get to 46.5, so I'm not short it yet. I am looking for Nphase shorts, though. Adara?
Just be aware here, Netflix at new all-time highs. We had all-time highs here around 1064. We tapped those the last 2 days. Today, we actually break out of it. Right now, high here just around that $1,072 level. EW also looking strong this morning. Edward Life Sciences, this is a day one earnings move for EW. We're noting with that Netflix move, it's under 400,000 shares traded on the day so far, so pretty light for NFLX on volume, but great move to the upside to start the day. No economic data at 9:45 a.m., but at 10 a.m., we will be getting existing home sales. Back to you.
For that one. All right, new position alert for both of us now. Nphase for Neil. I've got AMD right now. I'm trying to watch AMD underneath VWAP. If we take it out, great call there by that individual in the chat, as you mentioned there, in the short at 91.50 60s. But here it is, a nice move down. Adara's mic is live, Fabian. So here we go. We'll see if we can get a push down right now for AMD. So I'm going to average it in, right? If we can get something in the 80s, we'll take some more. And then this will be a quick trade. You know, we want to be here in case the market does flash down a little bit. I like the short in this space. We'll watch out for AMD, trying to get some more. Target out 91.10 or so if we do pop. Looking to get more short in the 80s for advanced micro devices. My favorite stock in the world, literally, Palantir. My favorite stock in the personal account and my favorite stock to trade here, especially over the last couple of days. That just rockets up. And we had wrote down on our thing, on our notebook here today that, hey, if we wanted something, we've been nailing Palantir, let's just go for it. And unfortunately, we did go for it, but we missed it by 30 cents. And we just wanted to sit there. We should have maybe used a 200 period moving average. So every day, man, every day we just get a little bit smarter and a little bit more clued into how these individual stocks are playing. So it's great. Like I love the fact that we are looking there and we just missed it. Obviously, we'd rather be in it, but you know, when your ideas work and you're not in, you just need to, hopefully get into something a little more aggressively or whatever, and we're working with all of that. So, all right, so two shorts on Nphase and AMD, and that's about it for me right now. AMD's trying to get lower. We're short right now, right here at 50s.
Damn it, Tesla.
Is Tesla coming back in a bit?
Tesla just came back in. I thought we were going to get 250 for a split second. Next thing you know, we're bouncing right off the volume-weighted average price here on Tesla. This was, look, obviously, Tesla is going to be a big part of the plan as a day two play. So we'll see. We'll see if we get down back into that 250. That was the over-under area that we liked. Like, I'm just not sure we're going to be able to get this one. If it holds above VWAP, I said I didn't want to be in early, but that is a stair step to the upside on Tesla that I don't want to completely miss here. Where is ENPH, not EPNH? I got to say it out loud so I don't screw it up. There's our topping tail off of yesterday's high on Nphase. So yeah, we're in early, and if it doesn't break trend, I cannot add to this position. I have my stop at about 75, but we want to be adding on the way back down here on Nphase and not try to get wicked out. It did this in yesterday's trade, like big shot to the upside, then confirmed with a lower high. I'm looking for a very similar pattern on this name. Not sure, Tesla doesn't want to give you this dip. No, not at all. So, best laid plans, sometimes it just doesn't go that way. It was a complete dump and then bounce. It's seemingly a little bit different here from Tesla into a somewhat strong market. So if we do close above VWAP on this next 3-minute candle, then I have to start looking for long on a little bit of a chase play here for Tesla. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. Alibaba, nothing doing. I'm sitting there at 120. Let me just cancel that. You try to get that pop and fade. I mean, Alibaba's not going anywhere near the 120. I still favor short. But sometimes you move the target. If it doesn't do anything off the open, I can look at the closer resistance. Maybe 119. That'll look like a bit of a play. As long as we stay underneath, I'm going to favor the short here on the Chinese name. Market not doing a heck of a lot, so I feel like you got to be patient.
All right, I just had to text my kid. All right, so just real quickly here. we just averaged it into AMD. I'm only on this one trade right now. I have eyes on Palantir and on Tesla, but right now we're in advanced micro devices, a name that wasn't on my list, so I'd hate to lose off this, but Nvidia, the only other play that I had in the chip space was Intel or Nvidia, and right now Intel's not getting me into that level, and Intel, we'll have a quick little look over there as well. Neil just talked, we've been looking at this anyways. It's going upside, so great job there buying Intel, if anybody did, off the open. I mean, check out what's going on with Apple. I mean, sometimes Apple can be a good barometer of the market. Did you just talk about Apple? No. Yeah, so there goes Apple right now coming back in right here. So, hey, man, for our shorts right now, Apple helping the market, that's for sure, but not helping our positions, or my position anyways. AMD right now out 7 cents. There goes Apple down to 203. Like, what's up with that? I think that this name, again, a good buy opportunity down at $2 if we can get down there for Apple. Still a ways to go before that level hits. Market just doing not much, man. I have Ben Zink in my ear. I'm not hearing anything. It's just a nice slow climb higher right here, right now, which is pretty, right here, right now, which is pretty impressive. Hello.
It's very impressive.
Palantir up 3%, Neil, and just no red candles in sight right now for PLTR as we continue to get higher highs right now for that name. But here comes AMD. So let's go, man. I'm waiting for get out at 10% if we can. I'm bidding 35s. Maybe we can get down there. That would be a break of the day low. We've had a good shorting opportunity. Unfortunately, we did not get loaded up here at 85, which is where I'm sitting. I'd like a little bump up there to get a full position to make sure that we can trade this properly. But at the end of the day, I'm out of this name at 91.10. I just wanted to say that because it could happen at any moment, especially when we're throwing to Adara.
As we get a little bit of a pop-up in this market here, 2 days highs, we do have some reports coming through here about the state of the trade agreements with India. Charles Gasparino, frequent Fox Business contributor, posting on X that apparently people inside the Trump White House are alerting Wall Street executives that they're nearing an agreement in principle on the trade with India. So apparently White House officials nearing an agreement with India on trade. Back to you.
That's
bullshit
good news.
that I don't need.
I want them to get deals done.
No, so do I. But like this nearing this and that, like it's great. Like I just want to hear bang. You know, like we've been hearing it for the whole month. We're nearing this, we're nearing that. I would love to get a deal, and I'd love to hear that. So let's go. Thanks, Adara, for that report, and let's see if that is true. And I'm not sure, you know, the keys that India holds to this whole thing, but at the end of the day, it's a big economy, big opportunity.
Good for Apple.
Yeah.
Jinx.
But there must be other companies that have.
My daughter's all about Jinx. Like you can't say the same thing.
Yeah.
No, there's other companies that'll be affected. The first thing that comes to mind is the one that I'm invested in that would be affected by that. So I like Apple in that regard.
Yep.
Look, Tesla's about to break out the high here. Yeah, we've been groaning at the same
Jinx
time.
again.
It's just ridiculous. No, I'm groaning because I'm not long Tesla.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to be patient with this because like the worst thing you can do in a situation like this is try to buy the top. That happened to me in BTC yesterday, or IBIT yesterday, which I'll get to in a second. It's doing nothing. But Jedi, shout out to you, Jedi. Thanks for the super chat. Hello, good morning. Your opinion on Fortinet and Snowflake, I assume you mean, as defensive swings for the next 3 months. If we'll get to those, I promise we'll look at Fortinet. I'm not that familiar with it, but I looked yesterday and was saying Snowflake is a no for me. Because Snowflake, I don't like the ones that don't make the money.
It's a no flake?
Well, I had a swing that I recently covered in it that I showed you guys, and it was a while ago that we covered in phase back to VWAP. It's holding VWAP. We'll try to reload near the highs. But yeah, I want things that are a little bit more, you got to be making cash to get through this. I don't like Snowflake in uncertainty. They're not Palantir. Let's get to the downside here. Nphase starting to come back in. It's the only trade I got on, and we're breaking VWAP.
Yeah, we just put on a bigger position right here on AMD. So our average price now 85. Our average price was 78. So we're starting to pull back a little bit here. So I'm going to start to take some profit on this play. It's a decent amount of shares here, and let's just see if it can fall back. We are starting to piece some out though at the 200 period in and around the 60 level. So Adara's got more.
I do have more here. PONY, Pony AI. This is a day 2 mover. Yesterday, they had some news on their robotaxis. More news on the robotaxis today, announcing that they have some LiDAR sensors selected for all of their 7th iteration robotaxis. So PONY, small cap with robotaxi catalyst. Back to you.
Cue the genuine music.
Yeah, ride that pony. All right, so there it goes. As soon as we got in, we got out, basically right there on AMD. So we'll have to slap a fail on the short because we were only able to get out of a little bit there and it fades back to the upside. But again, a quick in, a quick out on AMD. It's going to be a fail. That was not... did not work out. I mean, we tried it there at VWAP. We tried it at the 50-period moving average. Now we can get away from it. We said that we were a little bit stunted on where this market would go today. And oh boy, the longs that we had written down were completely right, but we just were not aggressive enough because, again, remember what I said, when I don't have that real strong belief in one way or the market, I get a little less aggressive, and we just missed this by 30 cents. And there goes Palantir up $4 now, up 4% and up through 104. And then Tesla as well.
SMCI is flying.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these names now starting to go, okay, AMD, is that what you really wanted to do right there? That's too bad that we got stopped out where we did. But we'll try it one more time up near that high spot. There's that run right into that pre-market level for AMD. So I'm okay with where we are right now on this name. Let's just see if it can hold out this low now, and then we're just going to get stopped out on that high if it runs it again. 91.30 AMD. I'm going to try it again up there, and hopefully we don't get run, but we could. 91.30 is our new stop here for Advanced Micro Devices. I've seen this story many times. Let's see if we can cash in on it again, but I don't know.
Yeah, so SMCI broke out the highs. That's up 4%. ARM is absolutely flying. Only now is Nvidia trying to participate a bit more. I don't know why it's so relatively weak. I'm still only in Nphase. I'll reload off the top if it gets there. Just looking for a similar pattern to yesterday, like up, up, up.
Okay,
He's still potentially on the back end. I want to see a lower high here on Nphase and then a possible trend into the downside. ServiceNow, oh my goodness.
This market is loving whatever this is.
ServiceNow is now up 14% and seems to want $1,000. I guess they're going to need to split soon too as well. So ServiceNow, they reported last night, they were one of the runners. Unlike IBM, it actually held their gains and they're flying to the upside. And IBM, oh well, whatever, it doesn't really matter. No, I was like, look how bearish that chart is. But I'm going to take a day 2 play over a day 1 play, so we short Nphase. But IBM, ball don't lie. It doesn't matter what you think of those earnings, man. And beat, guide, I don't care. All the confidence in the world they had in their call. We're not affected by tariffs. They're selling the living you-know-what out of IBM into an up market. So $220 on IBM is it'd be SSR if it gets down there. It's a 200 period on the daily. That's the only place I'd look to not catch a falling life, but look for a reversion play. Can't believe this is going to be double digits to the downside in an up market. That's a bad, bad sign for IBM. So Nphase reloaded at 46 for, it just tagged the even at VWAP, but it can't break VWAP. This is an upward trending market. I think you have to pick your spots in these shorts, at least for now. I'm not going to get that AMD into that 90. I wanted to be wrong at 89.5. So getting in, it had to be well under 90.5 to get into that one. So I'm not going to be long any of the chips at this point. And Tesla, for all the strength in the market, Tesla's actually pulling back right now. So maybe we get our shot to buy the dip in Tesla after all. Patience might pay.
Yeah, exactly. I think you got to, I mean, that's exactly what the name of the game is here with this market today, especially if you're not long early. Now you're going to have to wait for some kind of pullbacks. We'll take a breakout trade here and see if it wants to go. We're on Amazon right now. Amazon only up not even up 1% yet as the market's trying to go as well. It doesn't look like this. It looks like this. So I think there's a lot of room to run here for Amazon. It's a name that I like. We've liked it for a while here. 182.60. I think that could be a good little level there for Amazon. So we'll get some orders out if we can get up to there. Let's talk about the downside in case it doesn't work for us. Again, VWAP is here. I don't know. You know, I saw some people like, maybe sit on our hands. Might be a good trade early. And I thought that would have been the case. The NASDAQ just rocketing the way it is right now. Yeah, it just wants to go. So we'll take that. As far as getting out, like that's 181 down there. So I think worth $1, I think, as a hold. I don't think there's a problem trying for that. So that's what we're going to try to do, is try to make that dollar. First area, though, to get out is yesterday's level there of 50s, basically right into here. So if we can get something out there, that would be great. But I do want to average into this trade. So if it does get worse for us, I'm looking to average in, and I do have a bid right now on Amazon. I got to make sure 181.50. So it's coming back in. We're not layered into this, crazily here yet or anything. It's a breakout trade. I haven't really taken those too much. Yesterday we took Palantir breaking 100 and it worked. So let's see right here well, now Amazon's pulling back, of course. So now we'll have to grab that bid. So maybe we'll get filled and be able to ride this right back up to the upside. Amazon coming right in for us here.
Yeah, this is a key pullback if you're anything short. And I can tell you, Nphase is trying to press VWAP again. So it comes in here, it's like 30 pennies in the money. Next bid is at 50 cents, and then I want that low of the day. But there's no follow through the volume-weighted average price on this bad boy. AMD, just going to double check on that. It's still trending back upside, so I guess we're not going to get that dip buy in advanced micro devices. And then Alibaba, this was the other name on our list. Very muted inside day. I don't want to pivot away from this too much, but there was that JD.
All right, well, here we are.
I mean, JD's holding underneath that 33 very nicely. That might be a better play. I don't want to pivot too far away. Now you're getting the push through potentially on Nphase, which is what I'm staring down. Because if it holds VWAP, I do want to get a leg out. Instead of trying to take 59.8s, I want to get to 46. So I'm watching that one very, very closely in here on AMPH. Yeah, just going to have to be very patient with this. Well, it's a bold move there, Zapster, saying short everything.
Yeah, I might not be wrong.
Well, I'm not there just
everything
yet.
Is a little bit of a blanket statement.
Well, that would just mean shorting the futures. I'm not at that point yet. I only had two ideas that I wanted short. One was Nphase and one was Alibaba. And as you can tell, the level I wanted in Alibaba, it's not doing anything. It's more us confirming 119 is a short. So the only place you can short it is off the 119. At least I can short it, I think, is off this 119 and wait for it to retest the high. So I'm not with the short everything. I haven't even seen a red candle on Nvidia yet. And it's just steady Eddie. Like, look at the 3-minute on Nvidia. It's just steady Eddie to the upside.
What is Intel doing? All right, so we just, we bought we bought where we wanted to. We're long at 180, 180 now. We got the 50 level there for Amazon, and it's right there right now. So hopefully that can hold out. All right, so we did get a little bit of a dip down into $21 here for Intel. So we'll still wait to see what happens if we do get that bid down into 2050 area for INTC. We did have a missed opportunity one more time here for Amazon. I was bidding 30s and we didn't get filled there. So unfortunately that just missed off that 200 period or off the 50 period. So if this can go back up to the upside, that'd be all right. We'll take a long through 182 through 200. I wish through 182 right now. But the market is starting to make a move up. There's 19,000. We just ticked out of 19,000. So if we're going to look at the futures here on a daily chart, this is a 1-minute chart, but we'll call it up on the daily in a second. 19,000 on the Qs could be something there. So we'll have a quick look, but I need to watch out for this Amazon coming into 81.30 again. Going to be a level definitely for me to watch out. It's not, I just thought Amazon wanted to go at some point. It doesn't look like it does. I was trying to think about a name that I thought could be strong, that was against the market a little bit, that had some room to run. So when we broke that 182, it was not only the pre-market high, but I thought that we'd sort of matched with it from yesterday, right into here, trying to break up into this level. Maybe the right way to go was wait for this 182.50 to break. So we're in it a little bit early. If the market fades out, then this will obviously hit the pipe as well. So we'll go back over here to Tesla, have a quick look. There's that top. So we said the good trade yesterday was around this time, waiting for it to base out. It based out yesterday at the bottom, if we remember correctly, in and around here, right at this time. Yeah, 9:50, 10 o'clock, and then we shot up. So if Tesla's going to do something similar, we didn't just get that Amazon. If it's done something similar, then you do have a nice little top area right there that looks like something to trade for sure off of that level. So yeah, looking for something here on Amazon, looking for something on Tesla, and on Tesla it might be a short. So watch out as this pulls right back into VWAP right now, 252.
Well, I've seen a lot of people yell this one in the chat, and an ARM is looking, look, our homie over there in the other. No, man, it's looking like like Sharif's guns over here.
Oh, okay.
4% to the upside at yesterday's high, absolutely flying. About the only thing looking stronger than ARM and Palantir are all of the names. It's the quantum names. they're all beastly. I don't know why. I asked Adair if there was any news on these quantum names, but ARM breaking out the top. I'm happy because I recently bought it. I don't like the lack of liquidity. 30-cent spread on ARM right now makes it a no-go. But I'll tell you what, if we're not getting what we want to see for the setups, then sometimes you go to what is strong and see if there's any continuation. Rigetti's up 5 points. I know D-Wave, I always want to call it Qubits. QBTS is looking strong. Let's see how they do holding on to VWAP or consolidation off top. I mean, a pullback into the prior high is underneath the volume weighted average price. So I think maybe looking for some dip buys can make some sense. Just trade whichever one. I think they're about the same, Rigetti and D-Wave. They're both, yeah, you couldn't even tell when I flipped the charts there. The only difference, actually, QBTS might be a bit better because VWAP is yesterday's high. That'll break the tie for me. I think QBTS I'll put up on the list because I like when there's a little more confluence like that.
Oh, AREB. Let's have a quick look on there. I mean, I think this was ripping. All right, so yeah, we had marked it down here on our list today, down to $3. If we ever got near there, thought that we could maybe have that little bit of a bump. But wow, we just talked about it, and there it goes. Huge. I mean, it has nothing to do with us talking about it, but there's that huge candle. Just right now, in 1 minute, we take down $4. And go to 425, and that's already been up here, so watch out. This high has been 430. Looks like we want to break that right now. Again, a low float name, AREB, American Rebel, starting to get lifted here with the market, and there it goes. And I was just joking about this with the market earlier on in the day, but it looks like this up another 40%. It's up 100% yesterday or so. It went from $2 to $4, closing in and around that $3 level, and then making that move in the pre-market. There goes American Rebel one more time to the upside. Let's check out for GameStop. I saw there must be Pokemon card released again today. I should have talked to my kid because I saw a lineup at the GameStop near my house this morning. So GameStop right now, not a bad move, but outpacing is the market than GameStop, but still up 0.5%, nice move. So Amazon just got right back up to where we were, like our average price, because I was like, okay, good. Now we're flat. It got to 82. We were actually in the money there briefly on Amazon. We didn't take that profit, but I am waiting to get something out if we get up to $82. And now that 182. Now that I see where we are, I'm going to go to like 94s or 99. Let's go to 95s. See if we can get out of 10% if it does get back up there, and just try to get something out before that break spot of 182 again. It's a switch 2 is out today. Okay. So there we go. Yeah, so probably for the Switch 2. Okay. The only reason I said Pokemon cards is the last time I did that, I messaged my son right away and was like, oh my God, there's a lineup there. And he was like, yeah, there was
my daughter wants
something about that. So yeah, he's back into that right
We're
now.
waiting for, I'm not getting the Switch 2 right away. I
just got the PS5, which is a little late. That PS5 is released a long time ago. Here comes Amazon right back in. So this market in Amazon, not
here comes the dip.
Yeah, not treating the shorts very nice here, or not the longs nice on Amazon, because the market bouncing off 19,000.
Yeah, we just bounced off of, well, you just bounced off 19,000. So same range, only I missed the bid on VWAP on Nphase. We got back in, this time at 42 actually. Well, my price is 41.5, and see, this time it rounds down. I was joking about this yesterday, but we didn't get the bid on VWAP. So we're trying to bid out VWAP and continue to rinse and repeat, because eventually, if you have a bull flag that holds in a strong market, a lot of times we'll break out the top. If we break out the top, I'm jumping out of this trade. There's nothing else you can do. And it's nothing against Rigetti. Someone said you're jumping away from Rigetti when looking at the quant names. It was just Rigetti, here's VWAP, there's yesterday's high, and QBTS. When I looked at the two, there's VWAP, there's yesterday's high. The charts are similar. They're both holding the 50-period moving average. They're both in the same space. They're up the same percentage. Just going to go with the one that kind of sets up a little bit better technically. That's it.
All right, here we go. Thanks for that. Yeah, we just slapped the table there because I was like, thankfully, Amazon finally going back there to the upside. This is the NQs. Look at this. We're Moon City right now. There goes Amazon. I need to take some more out here. This is going to be a good trade. Oh, sorry, let me go over to it. I was going to show you on the daily there. We're almost back right now on our whole day here after that horrible trade on AMD, as that just kept on Rip City. Shout out to Portland and anybody who calls themselves Rip City. But there it goes. Nice move to the upside. I only know that because the jerseys. I saw them wear. It says Rip City on their jerseys. Yes. All right, so here we go. 81, 182.25. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers. They took care of business a couple days ago. We forgot to mention that one. But we're in a better mood now, baby, because there goes Amazon, and we are loaded up. It's too bad that we didn't get that 181.50 or 181.30 level. But again, remember where our average price was. It was 180.80. So we do the first in, first out method. So it's just going to show you that as a trade. So as I keep getting out, my price will get better. But it is the price I have is the price I have. If you're with me on that. So here we go, man. It's a beautiful move up now for Amazon. I'm going to cash out a little bit more. As I said, if we can get to that 50 level, would be my next target for AMZN. And we're doing it, and we're doing it live, and we're doing it well.
I represent Queen. She was raised out in Brooklyn.
Baby. Yeah, there it goes. So nice little call there for LL Cool J, because I'm going to knock Amazon out, or it's going to knock me out. But right now, it's a big one. It's a big, big trade. Bang, right there for Amazon. Man, oh man, we are like sitting in these trades. We're building it. We talked about why we liked it. We had faith in it. We held this against us about 50 cents or so, 181.80. We just missed the 30 level. Now it's upside. So holding it against us about 40 cents to make 80. That makes sense right now. So we are starting to cash out. I'm only out of 40% of it though. So let's go, man, on that one. But we're still battling the demons of this trade. I don't know what you're still in Nphase. So congratulations.
Nphase is working nicely off our level.
Yeah, this AMD is not.
But I'm looking.
Wow, Amazon.
Yeah, Nvidia just broke 105. They just, wow, that distracted me for a split second there. So Nphase is breaking the volume-weighted average price. I don't know if we'll get a 4-3 load off that high. We like one short, two shorts actually, 1 o'clock close, but 46.5 has held like an absolute champion. I think we're breaking down to the low. It's yesterday's low. It's an obvious range trade for me. It's an all-time. The 52-week low, I don't know if it wouldn't be an all-time low, I suppose, here yesterday on Nphase. It's probably just a 52-week low. And then before we get back to Adara, QBTS I did get long. First offer is at the high of the day or in front of the high of the day. Let's go to Adara.
Lower than expected existing home sales coming through. 4.02 million for the month of March versus 4.13 million expected and 4.26 million previous. So we are well below the previous and expected prints. Much, I guess, as you would expect here, existing home sales change also lower than expected, negative 5.9% versus negative 3.05% expected, and positive 4.2% previous. So lower than expected existing home sales and existing home sales change. Here is the NASDAQ, still at day's highs, up about 1% here. Lots of uncertainty as to what's happening here between China and the U.S. and trade, as has kind of been the norm. But be aware, Donald Trump will be speaking to the Prime Minister of Norway today, so stay tuned for that. That meeting will begin at 1:05 p.m. We know sometimes in the Q&A, market and trade-related questions can come up, so I'll be following that for you guys. Netflix here at day's highs, one of many names that's been pretty strong today. And we also have a ton of earnings. IBM, one of these day one earnings plays. They beat on EPS and sales. Stronger than expected guidance, but a little bit of a weak look here for IBM, which did gap down and is trading lower today. Back to you.
So QBTS just got to the top, so hopefully this one can go moonshot. Remember, it's already up 6%, and when we zoomed out,
moonshot.
I forgot to show you this. $7.80 local resistance on D-Wave, not qubits, Neil. But we bought that, the first available dip, managed to hold on to the higher low here at 747. Kind of an interesting number, not the plane. So that's the only two trades we've been in here is, and that wasn't even part of the plan. Nphase still holding that underneath VWAP after holding the 46.5 level that we wanted to short. I think we're going to the bottom. The only way I add to this is if we start respecting the lower high at the volume weighted average price. This is what it did yesterday. It went into one top, lower high, and then continued to channel down. So far, so good, 2 for 2. But we didn't get into Tesla at all. So 2 for 2, but no Tesla long. Tesla did come off VWAP there.
me and Joe battling over here right now. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, we're getting excited. I mean, and for good reason. This Amazon trade is an absolute monster for me again here. We got some good trades going on, looking at different sectors. Someone even in the chat was talking about Rigetti there as well. So maybe that name also trying to make some moves.
Space.
Yeah, the whole space. So good job there, QBTS. We'll pat ourselves on the back for Amazon because it is just going right now. So good job there. AMZN. Fly me to the moon, and don't quit our day jobs anytime soon. It's a nice. All right, let's go. I'm gonna get out some more here just in case. Don't need to go too crazy here, but Amazon, another out as we break through 183. Let's just hold this as much as we can now. I only have a third left. That target of 183, remember we zoomed back out and we were like, hey man, if we could get something around there, we'd be pretty good. And that was right where we are right now, 182.65. There's 183.60, 183.50, maybe the next level of something here that we'd want to look at. But again, good movement there. We're happy as you know what about a pig and something on that fill. All right, now we're starting to fade out though, Neil. I don't know if you're not really in anything Mag 7 here, but as the NASDAQ comes back in right now, you could see we are starting to fade a little bit here in Amazon. Yeah, so I just tried to offer 50s and missed it. As my guy Sharif says, that went down as quick as you like, but there it comes right back as quick as you like. So we just get our 50 right there. And that's part of sitting around, especially if you're doing what we're doing here, is have your orders out. I mean, there's been numerous examples over the time of, wow, that fill just came in and where'd that come from? Especially in these markets, if you don't have your bids out, and I don't know what that would look like in the options market or anything like that, but as far as equity, Neil and I are trading the physical equity themselves. So, we make plays based on the stock prices, and sometimes you can get those little, like, oh my God, there's a headline, and then the stock just goes like that a little bit. So you want to make sure you have bids out or offers. Like, that's a good example on Amazon right there. We just got 182.50 when we were like, oh my God, we missed it, right? And it came right back in there. And I didn't even finish talking, which is no surprise to anybody probably. But that right there just gave it to us. And when you're trading with size or no matter what you're doing, you want to make sure that if there's a 50-cent bump like that and you're a little cautious, get your fill and then, pound the table after because it was the wrong decision. But right there, you take some off the table, and now we're even lighter, obviously, on this trade. So we have we still have about 30%. We didn't get out of a whole bunch there on that move higher. So 30% still left in Amazon, and that's the only trade for me. Before I go back, I just want to show you AMD is off to the races. That was, again, we'll pat ourselves, if we can come over here, Fabian, just real quick. We'll pat ourselves on the back one more time for this move. And this was a negative trade, but I feel so good now about getting out of these things and not like having to deal with this. If your trade is going to be wrong early, exit stage left and find something else. And I mean, that's like, if I'd sat here and lost my whole day on AMD, then we would have missed this opportunity on Amazon. So that's something to consider for those of you that sometimes, and I used to be that way too, right? Like sitting there like, oh my God, this is not going up. This is not going up. I don't believe this. Stubborn.
American Rebel is 50% up now. Oh, we got to talk about it. Scott H in the chat. Look, yeah, absolutely we can pull it up. I just missed, you were just talking about that dip, and I wasn't anything that would follow the market. Yeah, D-Wave did dip, but I didn't get filled. I'll show you that in a second, but ARAB is breaking out the highs. There's some levels out here. If you look at like $7, I hesitate to say that because that's another 50% from here, but if you look at $7, that would be a decent resistance zone on American Rebel. Then QBTS did come back in. I threw my bids back at break even to get the same price and then try to chase it a little bit. It's right back up at the high, so we didn't get the dip buy there. Let's go over to Adara and go American Rebel for everybody.
Yeah, keep an eye here on the market. We do have some comments coming here through from Fed's Waller, who I was not seeing is initially scheduled to speak, but we know these Feds can often do interviews. He's saying here the general tone is that many companies are frozen by tariff uncertainty. He says that it's actually not likely that we'll be able to see clear tariff impacts even by July. So he's saying that these tariff impacts are going to take a lot longer to actually materialize and be seen and felt. Furthermore, he basically said that he wouldn't even be surprised to see more layoffs and higher employment. So kind of a bleak picture of the market and economy going forward being painted by Fed's Waller right now during these comments. Back to you.
bleak outlook on the economy. Okay, I see how it's going to be. Got to go back over to Nphase. That could be giving us an entry back at the high. Do not want, like I said, bull flags in a strong market tend to resolve themselves breaking out. So we'll be happy that it worked as well as it did, but I'm not reloading this. It was a break of VWAP and another fail at 45.8, and the best outs we were getting are like 45.90-ish. So if we can't get anything better than that, it could be a breakout play. Our level worked, but if it breaks out the top, I'm jumping out of Nphase and looking for the next. I will slap a fail on myself for not. I didn't find the join in AMD today, but it never really tested our level. And if I was wrong underneath here, I said before, if I'm wrong underneath 89.5, then it didn't come close enough to give me the dip buy. But here we are getting a little bit of a pullback. Popping tail candle, this could be that chance that you could get a real dip in AMD. So QBTS, we're still in the long, that's working. CNG asking about how high can ARM go? I think you're looking at all the chips in the same vein here. Remember, it was good earnings we got from Lam, and Lam's a good bellwether for the overall market. I haven't double-checked to see what Lam is doing, but my first thought is right here on ARM is a big level at 111. If I was more bearish, I'd be considering shorting it, but I'm not really that bearish today. So yeah, you're at the pretty big level. You break through this. There's not much standing in its way. 115 is a good psychological one, I suppose, but there's no levels I'm shorting on ARM. That's for sure.
All right. Yeah, so a good little look at a couple different names. I'm taking this opportunity to get some more out here of Amazon. So we take out another 10% right there at that level. Alibaba, let's have a quick look at some of these other names. A 120 mark should be something there for Alibaba. And the reason why I just called this name up is looky what we see right here. We nailed the Amazon top, right? I mean, we got the 182 long, but then it faded back out against us, and we had to buy a better price only to get the $1.50 winner that we have right now on Amazon. But that had to come with work. So I don't know if you want to take this Alibaba break right now. It is still zeros on the day, but this looks pretty good to me. Right back into yesterday's close. Generally speaking, I would be all over this trade. I'm just a little nervous about it being China. And I don't know, maybe that's being a little bit overthinking things right here. Alibaba right now, Fed Waller, believes the tariffs are a one-time effect. So, wow, we've already got one time right now on the NASDAQ because right here is M25. Whoopsies, wrong symbol right there is what we're looking at. That has already, look at the daily. I said we'd look at this again together maybe. So this is the NASDAQ here on April 1st. So that is right here. We are already back. The whole month right now is already given back. So in what was the worst start of a month, maybe, I'm not going to say ever, but I don't know, it might be. Huge move down there. We lost 3,000 NASDAQ points right there at the beginning of the month. 19,000 down to 16,400 right there. And all the way back up right now. So it's looking like we're going to have some actionable movements here in the futures. So I don't know, maybe selling some of these tops could be in play. But if we do get a deal with China, India, Vietnam, Canada would be preferable, please.
Yes.
But again, we have 4 days until election, right? Monday, I guess it is, the 28th. So, maybe there's something waiting for that to happen. I don't know. I could see maybe something happening once Carney, and that's going to be who the current incumbent, the current prime minister is, Mark Carney. And it looks like, according to Polymarket here, let me
it's like 80% now.
Let me refresh it. Yeah, I think it was over. Kalshi, I think, is bigger than Polymarket. Would you guys agree with that? All right, here it is right here. 62 million in volume right now. Last time I looked at this, it was 800,000 or something in volume on this trade there. But there it is, the next Prime Minister of Canada, apparently. I don't know. Do you remember what the odds were? Remember when it was Hillary versus Donald Trump? You guys in the
wish
chat,
I could say I do, but
what were those odds? Because I remember Vegas.
I feel like it could have been as high as.
Yeah, that night. I think it could have got like 10-1 or something on Trump, as those results were sort of coming in there. And I know that was ballot counting and a lot closer than many think. I'm not sure that's going to happen here. And we have a very, very, very different electoral college.
Or system.
Electoral college, I think, is the right word.
Well, they have it there.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
The way ours is set up
It's very different.
is very, very different. So I think that this is much more likely to happen because of like our West won't even get to vote before the prime minister is elected. So the way the seats in the caucus work is a little different. But congratulations to the Liberal Party. It seems like right now, and that might be good for Trump, only because he's said he doesn't mind dealing with them. So
I think it's good for us getting.
Maybe I'm just throwing too many.
I think it's good for us getting a deal, and that's one thing. You gotta keep the politics out of it and leave it at that. I think it's going to be good for the Canadian market. But what is not good for my soul, our level work, stay green on Nphase, but I just got top wick. Told you if it broke out that 46.5 top level, I'd jump out of the trade. Well, it wicked me out, and it was a heavy candle. It broke and was instantly back down. Now you're back at VWAP. I do want to get back into this because my level got respected very well. I'll just have to either wait for the top or that lower high that is not materialized on the stock like yesterday. So I never expect it to push up as much as it did the day before. That's why we're looking at 46.5. But I do need to find my way back into this trade. Unfortunately, it was the only thing we were in for a long time, and then all of a sudden, we get stopped out when the markets continue to go higher. But I need to get back into that trade. It's either at the high or underneath VWAP. And then QBTS, we grabbed the reload in front of 50. So basically on the same plane as before. If we lose the prior day high, I'm not thinking long. If we lose this local bottom, I'm jumping out and waiting till the prior day high. So a couple of ideas there. The second you mentioned Alibaba breaking 119, I thought, okay, 120.
Yeah.
Because that's the level that I like. Oh, it didn't break. 120 is the level I wanted to short Alibaba. I only had two short ideas, Nphase and Alibaba, and Baba looked like it had a chance to get to that 120 for sure. Mark's cars, what about NEO? So, here's the thing. Alibaba, you can see it not breaking out, and if I'm thinking short in the Chinese names, short the one that's not breaking resistance. Yes, NEO is almost at that 420 level, and yes, that's a 50-period moving average, but it's relatively strong. So I don't know the reason why. It was just at 4.2% as well. That's kind of funny. I don't know why, so I'm going to stay away from this. I still like Baba at 120 because it's got some relative weakness on it, but NEO seems a little bit strong. It's a resistance in about 10 cents or so. But if you're long this, I think you're feeling pretty good that it's actually even up on a day like today. All right, now pivot back over to advanced micro devices.
Oh,
that's the one I haven't been able to weasel my way into. And it's still same topping tail formation here. No pullback into VWAP. Nothing really doing on AMD. I'm not trying to long highs like this. It didn't do well for you yesterday if you did it. If anything, you got to be looking for a reversion play. What's Intel doing? Too late. Intel's already reverted. All right, AMD still setting up for
I still want longs, though. You want shorts?
Well, this thing is $1.40 from VWAP.
Yeah, I know.
So if it gets to VWAP, I'm going long. But if it gets there, there's probably a mean reversion trade. It just broke trend here. So there's kind of like a 15-cent risk short on AMD, which is setting up.
Yeah, what's up to everybody? Those of you talking about whether or not the Liberal government or whatever will be a good thing for us in Canada, I don't know. I'm just, we just had Trudeau here for a while.
Yeah, but it's because
he's a little
said he will deal.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why it's like it wasn't a comment on like this is great for Canada or anything like that. It's just like hopefully that can help us potentially get a deal, get at least some talks, and just wouldn't be surprised if they are sort of waiting a little bit for the election to settle before they start to make a call over here. But I mean, I guess Trump said his door is open, so hopefully Carney can kick that door open and get that done right now.
Leave the door
and I don't think Trump is going to be budging too much on cars and those tariffs because it's been a real big pushing spot there to keep American built and to support that industry over there. So that's a big point of content here, or I guess. This discussion
point of contention.
Point of contention for us here in Canada is to try to bring some of those jobs back, and I don't know if that's going to be something that Trump in the U.S. is going to be looking at. But there's Tesla. Tesla right now, we talked about it basing out at that high right there. Well, look what happens when we broke that at 254. We just ripped right up, And there it goes. See ya. There for Tesla, 254 breaks, and that now is a great long because right now you have the VWAP there, you have the 50-period moving average, and you have a nice little support level that it didn't even consider as resistance. Like it just came up, and if you shorted in front of that, you might have had a chance to get out in 1 minute, but if you didn't and you were hoping for the short, well, you had 0 outs because the most it retraced back was 253.98. So you didn't have an opportunity unless you just said, I'm throwing in the towel, and there it goes up $4 from that last spot. So it looks like Tesla right now is where the party's at. I don't know what's going on with Elon and Doge, but he had mentioned out of there sooner rather than later. So that's going to be a good thing for Tesla. Tesla now, Joe, up 2.5%. Palantir up to 105. It's doing its dance as well. Monster moves there down to 104.20. That could be a buy if we get that. But as Neil mentioned, there's a lot of these names that are just cruising. And unfortunately, the one that's not cruising is Amazon. Amazon's only up 0.8 right now. When we just looked at many other names that are multiples of that, including the chip spaces, right?
Google's weaker. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't think it's all Mag 7 names. It's the chip names. What is Google up? Or Google reports, though, today.
They report tonight, and they're back at VWAP, so it's not like it's everything. Apple, remember Apple when it was dipping? Well, Apple's at the high and at some resistance. That could have been a trend break as well, but I took AMD, and just to show you, just in case you didn't see it, like there's the strong trend line up that it held, pretty clean. The first red candle came on the break and a wick high, so there's the consolidation. I like that setup because I can just throw the stop at the high and throw a bid at resistance or support, throw a bid at the next key level to the downside, out in front of yesterday's high. I want it out, and then all the way down into here in front of 91.75. So I like that kind of a trade because it's pretty binary. But wow, I mean, you said Tesla's absolutely strong. Apple's doing a job today. But we're not breaking these highs if none of these things can get through this resistance. We're not going to go through and make a fresh high in the NASDAQ and the ES if the only thing going is Tesla. That's just, it doesn't seem very likely to me. Nvidia is holding underneath the high. So I think you can have some maybe temporary pullbacks. That's why I got this mean reversion trade on in AMD. And let's go over to Adara. I believe we have a small cap recap.
We do have the small cap recap, Neil, and this IWM looking distinctly different from yesterday's performance. It had the gap up and then it kind of sold off all day. Today, though, actually nice move pre-market. Looks like a strong start for the Russell 2000. Lots of these small cappers to talk about. One of them is AREB, American Rebel. This is now a day 2 move. On Tuesday afternoon, they announced they're basically going to be strategically expanding into North Carolina via a distribution agreement made with Adams Beverages. AREB gets tons of retail attention. They've traded higher in the past. Float of under 1 million shares. Last I saw was about 927,000. And it is also worth noting they have about a 13% short float. Then we have AMBP. This is RDAW Metals. This is a day 1 earnings play, small cap. Adjusted earnings per share up on a year-over-year basis. They beat on sales, so good look for AMBP. Last but not least, this CEP, this is Cantor Equity Partners, ran yesterday at day's highs today. Looks like Tether, SoftBank, and Jack Mallers are going to be launching a Bitcoin native company called 21 through a business combination with CEP. So tons of small caps to watch out for today. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And back to you.
Insane. This CEP is going absolutely ham. Like
back-to-back days.
You should see the tape. Like the tape on this thing is ridiculous on CEP. Like it's just flying through. It's going to go into a halt. It's at the halt band at 31.49 as we speak. So in like 5 or 6 seconds, you're going to see it go into an up halt here. There you go. They're not going to print this one down. Instant taps at 32. You guys can see it live. I don't know why I'm pointing instead of doing that. So we'll tap at 32 on CP. First halt of the day. It's going absolutely ridiculous to the upside. Of course, my first short in a non-Nphase stock is AMD, the stock we wanted long at 90. We put the mean reversion on. It broke the stop. I got to zoom in so you can see. There you go. It broke the prior bar high. So my out is a prior bar high. So short the consolidation, out the prior bar high. AMD's on an absolute tear at this point. And of course, Nphase is back underneath VWAP. So I got out of Nphase, which is still setting up like it's going to be a good one. But wow, I don't know what to make of that CEG. I just want to say be cautious with this. Whoops. I just said CEG in my head. It's not CEG. It's CEP, everybody. Cantor equity. So it's a little bit crazy. Remember, the base is at that $10 level. You're now 3x from anybody that got into this thing at the bottoms. As quick as these will go up, you will easily get more rapid moves sometimes to the downside. So this is much crazier today than it is yesterday. Just want to get that. Like, it was much more stable and linear to the upside yesterday. Today, it's just ripping faces off. So no one ever went broke taking profit and all that good stuff. We did get that dip buying QBTS. It's kind of just staying in the bull flag here. So the QBTS holding the prior day high, buying the 750s, and then trying to get out through the top. I think there's room to 780. That's the next level on the daily chart there for QBTS. There goes Nvidia finally breaking the top. Yeah, so Nvidia is going with the rest of this market and breaking out these tops. So, you know, the longs are starting to work once again in here. But wow, that stock is insane. We'll keep it up and let you guys know where it opens.
And right back to highs right now is Amazon. So Amazon comes right back up to 183, so we'll take another out right there. As we'll still continue to look for more plays. I mean, Boeing on a day 2 play right here as well. If there's anybody in the chat that wants to discuss anything with us, obviously hit us up immediately. I just looked at this FinViz scanner right here, and just to look at, you know, maybe what's going on as far as different sectors are concerned. Let me just, maybe if I can, can I zoom in on this a little bit? There it is, right there. So technology right now up 2.5%, comm services, consumer cyclical leading the way. The only red sectors today, utilities. So we'll find out what's going on there. And then consumer defensive names. So I've never done this. Okay, there we go. If we can click on this, we can see maybe what the action is right there. Obviously, Green Lane. That's not a big one. As some of the education groups kicking out now as well. Sort by volume to see maybe what's kicking around in consumer land. Procter and Gamble down today. What? That's down 4% right now. Procter, Coca-Cola down right now. Yeah, okay. So Walmart actually down. I can't believe Walmart $94. I mean, I think there's some value there for sure at Walmart. I mean, we've talked about some of those plays back and forth there a bit. So I do like Walmart. Boeing right there, nice move down to 170, back up to 172. Walmart had that dip down into $80 for Walmart. So that level coming into play, maybe never again. I don't want to say never again, but that could be true. That was a monster dip for Walmart. They didn't even have horrible earnings. And then it just fell off a cliff real quick as we all worried. There's that 80 mark. And I'm just kind of joking that we'll never see it again. I mean, I don't know, but that seems like a great buy. I mean, on a name that just had this kind of trajectory, then to pull back in like this, I like Walmart down here near 80 if we ever get that opportunity. You know my affiliation for Costco as well. That's been a real strong name for a very long. Oh my gosh, Randy, you have all hail Randy right now. Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot there. Randy, and I know Neil's got to go, but
how long?
Yeah, I just want to say, look at Tesla, man. Another 2.5% up there for Tesla, man. Still climbing, looking good on the daily, trying to take down this 50-period moving average. Randy, I believe if we get above 270, then 300 is likely, I would say, at this point. So despite all the bad news that's in the market right now with Tesla, you tell me, you're surprised, right? I mean, you and I talked about Tesla not being a buy down into this area, and I agreed. We thought it was going to go down, but tell me something about Tesla that I don't know already, which would probably be a lot. But what's something?
I just didn't think there would be this kind of a bounce back. I mean, the EPS was negative and the deliveries were down, and yes, Elon's leaving Doge and coming back to grab the reins and to take hold of
back to work.
Well, yeah, get back to work. There's lots of work to do. I mean, lots.
What's your opinion on the business of robotaxi? Because I feel like that's the next big thing that a lot of us are going to wait for. I mean, the story today was, as Sharif brought to our attention, 1,500 rides already conducted there with employee-based rides.
I think there's a lot of regulatory hurdles, both
that makes sense.
State and provincially, federally, whatever in other countries. There's a lot of hurdles. So does the technology work?
Yes.
Maybe. Sure, give it a 9 out of 10. But the hurdles and the concept of jumping into a taxi with nobody driving it.
Would you do it?
I'd rather have Sharif drive.
Basically means we're
that's
not making
Uber,
money
right?
on this for a while.
I see it as a long-term play because of the hurdles.
Right.
So do people trust this thing? Sort of, maybe not. You know, there's the safety factor involved, and just
I like bullish Randy more.
Just being realistic here, there's a long ways to go. And are you going to bet the company's profits on this one product? No.
But the Model 2 or Q or whatever, that's part of this robo-taxi release as well.
Yes.
So maybe if the robo-taxi aspect of it does not
the
take
hardware
off per se.
The platform is definitely a component of this.
Wow,
but
Amazon.
the software is the bigger piece of the pie here. So
Ouch.
I don't know. The only thing I liked about their earnings report was that the energy storage and power generation was up, but a lot of the suppliers that feed that side of the business are getting tariffed.
And Waymo? I mean, I thought Waymo was doing okay. Is that unsupervised? That's unsupervised, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're rolling out well.
They're making
relatively speaking.
Keep talking
yes,
because whatever you're
yes.
doing is working for Amazon.
They're making progress. You know, I said there's a lot of hurdles here. I think we have quite a ways to go yet. I'll drive myself for now, or get Sharif to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's up with getting Sharif to do things?
I don't know where that.
Sharif Uber as a side gig
I don't
here
know
or
where that
something like
came
that I don't know about? Because if so, Sharif, pick me up, my guy. All right, well, what's going on right now is money. Wow, we are now $2 right now in the money on this play, and it is AMZN. And there we go, man. It's 10:30, and Amazon now finally taking out the top as we continue to go. Let's go. Yeah, you're right, Hamster. I mean, I was trying to get him to keep talking because it was definitely working for my positions straight there to the upside. Again, 1 for 1 only today because AMD was a disaster early. Well, not really, but I mean, it was a bad trade as we got short and then got the heck out of Dodge on that one, heck out of Dogecoin on that one. And then there it is all the way up to the upside as there goes AMZN, man. Now finally catching up. We play the catch-up game right now, and there it goes. We finally made those burgers last night, and they were well received by the family. But you know what I do, Neil? I don't know if you make them yourself or not, but I get the ground beef, and then honestly, it's called Kinder's, and they have different blends and different spices available at your local Costco.
We do sometimes. We're like 50-50.
Yeah.
I've told you how lazy I am. My wife is much more likely to really do burgers.
She's the one that goes in, eh?
Like, okay. I'm more likely to just pull it out of the freezer and throw them on the grill. Like, I'm not seasoning the ground beef. Like, I don't really get into that as much. I usually have as much time, but it is what it is.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, but like
I was gonna ask you what you season them with. Was what I was gonna get at, but like when you do it, are you like you put in like some barbecue spices, Cajun? Do you like them a little spicier? Do you throw in? So for me, I
like spice, so I do like the Cajun, but my daughter doesn't eat that. So like a very light barbecue, because my daughter is not like me at all. She does not like anything spicy, which that's hard for me.
It'll be a developed
I hope
just
so.
keep on feeding that
because I really love spicy food, and I don't really eat much of it when we're having the same thing.
Does your daughter like pie at all?
Oh my goodness!
Then do not bring her to Joe's birthday or anything, but there'll be no pie there.
All right, everybody. Apple pie and all of the pie in the world is brought to you by Trade the Pool. With Trade the Pool, you can trade real stocks with massive capital and only put down $47 to get started. You can buy a lot of pie with that. Trade the Pool offers 2 ways to get funded.
True.
And both give you access to up to $200,000 in company capital. It just depends on your trading style. The Max plan is built to reward consistency with a smooth path to payouts. The Flex plan is designed to fit you when you need more time and flexibility. Whichever path you take, your risk is capped and your opportunity is unlimited. Join tradethepool.com and scan the QR code and get 10% off. Shout out to Trade the Pool. And a little bit for everybody. And you know what? A little bit of crypto for everybody right now with Adara. You can even look at it.
Yeah, let's take a look here at Bitcoin. Bit of a topping tail candle here at that around that 95,000 level made yesterday. Now we're seeing a little bit of support here around 92,000, but we'll have to wait and see here. A bit of a lower high. This could be a brief temporary end to this nice little rounded bottom / breakout thing that we've seen on the daily chart as of late for BTC. After some pretty intense selling with BTC and the rest of the market Bitcoin roughly flat today. Ethereum down about 2%, back below 1,800. We have XRP down about 3%, BNB down about 2%, Solana about 1% to the downside, Dogecoin 2% to the downside. So generally weaker here for these crypto names this morning as the market pushes to the upside. I've seen some reading online here about the idea that Bitcoin or crypto and the market are now trading inverse one another. If you look at this today compared to the market, that does seem to be the case. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Adara. As we look over some crypto, and I was just like, to Neil, I was like, what? XRP's down 3%. So we'll have to just immediately log in and sell everything we have for that. Just joking. There's Amazon right now. That segment brought to you by Amazon, just straight up to the upside right now as it continues to go. I wish we weren't planting red flowers here, red roses, but that's what we did, man. There's the plant, there's the growth. Nice upside move there for Amazon. Really glad that we are still in that. We just did look at a few different names for you via the sector watch, or a little bit of a sector watch anyways. I'm going to find a little, there are different things you can look at for, sector watches and whatnot, but this is the heat map that I prefer to look at. I don't want to sign up for any of those ads though. There's Microsoft. Today's been a good day. Let's just get rid of that. Get rid of that. And there it is, man. Microsoft, Apple. Neil actually turned to me and said, we don't really look at Microsoft too much anymore. I was like, yeah, we don't. That is true. Maybe we should get back in that. Microsoft and Meta, for me, it's a little too pricey at these levels. And Neil had mentioned something earlier about, spreads and sort of liquidity drying up. I would just prefer to look at names that are a little less priced than the $400 to $500 space right now. But that's why, we're back in, Amazon's still good. It's $2 billion. We're trading Amazon, no problem. And we're trading Tesla, no problem as well at 250. It's just a little bit more comfortable with those. You could see here all of these tech names just really starting to blast, man. You could see Broadcom up 3.5%. And as I look through this list, we have ARM right there, up 5%. Texas Instruments up 6%. NXPI, as we continue to go, a lot of love here for many of these names today in the market. So again, congratulations anybody that hit the long earlier on in the month. As we now go green, I'm gonna have to see month to date right now, because I think we're pretty close to getting to that green spot again here, which makes a lot of trade. I was looking at the Qs earlier, so yeah, we could probably see it on a monthly chart, but I don't know if it'd have to fill up after today. But another 2% up for the NASDAQ. Like, these days are like ho-hum days right now, but it's been a good one. We can look at the SPY to see if that's positive here on the month.
Not quite. Close.
Not quite, eh? Yeah, that's what I mean. We're right here. So this is April 2nd, so this would be April 1st. So we still have a little ways to go on the SPY. On the month, right? But the Qs is a NASDAQ name, so let's just go have a look. Again, I'm looking at the actual Qs here, so this is not the NASDAQ proper. But there's April 1st is this candle right here. So this red candle. So we're not, so my bad, we're not there yet. It's got to get to about the closing or opening price, I guess, to determine if it's positive. 470. So we're $7 away, Neil, on 460. I don't know what that math is, but another 2%, maybe a little bit less than that, get back up to the upside. So we're getting pretty close now to all your nightmares turning into dreams if you bought that dip. But my account is still well underwater from the highs.
So far from the
highs, right?
The question is, can we get back to those highs? So I think the answer is entirely known only by maybe a couple of presidents, and one of them is in China and one of them is the United States. Because we get a deal, I think we'll be absolutely fine. And we get a deal, you have a chance at those all-time highs coming in again. If you don't, I think there's no possible way. I don't think earnings will be that good. I did get back into Nphase. I actually tried to add more in here on the way down. So a bit of a mistake in not getting everything. But we did wick out one time on Nphase. It's still the same range, 46.5. We like it for the short. It does seem like this is one of the few things that's holding out and not breaking even further and further and further. And then just going to go back to AMD. We tried one short in AMD and lost. It has yet to stop going and going and going. So bit of a weird one that I wanted long, and we had one short on it. We'll have to find something of a pullback. I don't think we're going to get VWAP at all. Important indicator
Yeah, yeah, Amazon now $3 in the money, but you can read all of these very clearly with the best charting in the business, that is eSignal. So make sure you do hit the QR code right there on your screen. We are offering a first month free right now on Amazon. So if you are on Amazon, not on Amazon, on eSignal. We have our first month free, so make sure you do sign up, click that QR code, just log in, grab the account, see if you like it, and if you do, then, you know, give us a big shout out, because this is something that, you know, we've really promoted, and we like the software, we like what it's doing. Connect over 50 plus brokers, grab that first month free on eSignal. Get the entitlements, right? I mean, Neil's talked about Blue Ocean and some of the moves that happen after hours and in different exchanges. I mean, check out the Japanese markets to trade there. You can entitle those however you like. If you're only a futures trader, only grab the CME then, right? I mean, that's the benefit right now of getting hooked up with eSignal. And I just, you know, the back testing and some of the things that happen there with eSignal as far as tick replays and being able to sort of scan through the opportunities. I like it. I like it a lot. Jeez, Joseph, man.
Oh, Fabian.
Next time you're going to Jamaica, man, I'm hopping with you, because this ride here on Amazon is definitely taking care of some of those vacation plans, because this is $181.50, guys. Like, this is $3 now. There goes Amazon. It was not... Sorry, I want to put it there so I can see the price next to the chart. But right there, you can see the kind of damage that we're putting on this name right here. I was like, man, you know what? Like that, why was Amazon not outpacing the market? I mean, right there, we bought the dip. And then we always say this, man, stay in control, stay focused. We've seen breakouts before. We talk about it. Neil talks about this all the time as well. Like, what trade is going to react which way? Breakouts act differently than, you know, sitting around and catching different knives. It's a different trade. So we bought half of our position there, then we added half more here against VWAP and the 50-period moving average. Now, this can be a disaster. Like, if it breaks and the market turns on its head, then you are like the Undertaker, you're a dead man walking. But this trade had the market with it. So that's the difference today. The market was going and Amazon wasn't. So all it had to do was play catch up, and it did. So we're going to get out another piece here at 184. It's a good day, man, for us here. We're green on the day, and whenever you're green on the day, then you celebrate a little bit there. We just had to buy our PWHL, which is the women's hockey, which, you know, obviously we're season ticket holders. Their playoffs just got released, and so we had to buy those tickets. And then I got the bill for my daughter's hockey, and all in, obviously minus any sort of, you know, food and travel and anything like that, $5,400 for the year for hockey. So, and that's one kid.
You know what?
And that's one sport.
You know what's crazy? Actually, that's not unreasonable. That's actually not that bad.
That doesn't include equipment.
I know, and I don't want to. I know a dad that's spending 13 grand for baseball for their kid. And
but that must be travel. They must be going to the States or something.
I think because in baseball, it's a lot of U.S. travel. And that's the issue.
Yeah, and
I'm not including that. It's a ton of U.S. travel. And I know another dad where they went to the Dominican Republic for a tournament.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Kid's 9 years old, and they're going to the Dominican.
Sounds like a vacation.
That's a little bit intense.
I'm going to North Bay, freezing my ass off.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just a different beast. I think the good thing about hockey.
Shout out to North Bay.
Is it's so big here that you can really develop here in Canada. Whereas if you're a baseball player, you've got to play down.
Shout out to the Winnipeg Jets, by the way, Adara.
Yeah, shout out to the Jets.
Up 2-0.
Before we get to it, I'm in VWAP on Intel. And I want more short, and as long as the market keeps going, it wicked me out underneath volume weighted price. I put in the chat that I liked Intel off of VWAP in there, but it briefly broke. I just jumped right back in it when it wicked out, and we'll take that. Nphase, I do want to get more of this. The market just keeps going higher and higher, and this is a brick wall at our level at 46.5. So I'm going to hold on to that as long as we can. And let's go to Adara for sector watch. See if Proctor has come back. Probably not.
Go Jets and also go market. But if you want to know why Procter & Gamble is down, that's because we had earnings. PG and PEP both reporting earnings, bringing down this consumer durable sector. There's one thing you'll notice about the sector board during earnings season, and it basically is that sometimes we'll have sectors that are really strong or really weak, but then one or two names are standing out. That's usually, you can tell, earnings. In this case, both PG and PEP reported. We have IBM, similarly to the downside here in technology services, which is otherwise really strong. Finance strong, electronic technology strong. Amazon, one of the few stronger names here in retail trade. Great look here for producer manufacturing. Generally a pretty good look here for consumer services, transportation as well. So honestly, the PG and PEP earnings in consumer non-durables, really some of the weaker things in an otherwise pretty strong market, guys. Back to you.
Apparently,
The weed stocks are moving. I just told Sharif I was down 98% on my Canopy, down I think 99% on Tilray.
I meant to hit this one instead.
Diamond hands, baby.
Just hold.
Well, just hold. Yeah, just I was holding something
joking.
in my hand instead.
No,
I mean,
I'm
this
joking.
is
It's gonna look at this.
disaster.
CGC is actually breaking trend right here. Look at this daily chart. Something is happening here in the.
Trust me, nothing's happening. This is just This is just.
I actually don't know if anything's happening here.
Oh
so.
man, CGC.
But no, it's legit. It's up 18%. It bounced off $1. It's making some higher.
Maybe that's
lows.
the thing. The dollar.
Maybe there is a story. Maybe there
broke
is
a dollar a
story
couple
here.
days ago.
I don't know. Maybe there is some kind of a story. You guys let us know. Is there anything brewing online about the cannabis names here? Or is this maybe just a little bit of a technical break and the shorts are getting squeezed, which is absolutely fine. You don't mind that. Brenworks says same thing as in February. Yeah, okay, true. Yes, but haha. It didn't hold the 50-period moving average in February. It failed the 50-period. This looks like it's breaking. It already broke to the 50. Now it's breaking away from the 50. So I would say it's different from February in that regard. Lighter volume, but better technical break. So that's all I will say for CGC. Again, if there's a story, great. We did get back in Intel. I have to put my orders back in to try to play it into the high. I did have a look at Mobileye. MLBY. Yeah, what just happened? Whoa, what just happened to the bid there? All right, my stop's at 05. It is so crazy how quickly they will just release the bid and then it's right back. Like it was holding VWAP. My stop was underneath 05, so my stop was literally at 4. And then it goes right to 5 and then bounces right back above VWAP. It's insane. I don't know if this is the reason why they're dropping SEC fees, but the lack of liquidity whenever they just pull the bid is kind of jokes. I wanted to go to Mobileye.
I mean, something's happening, maybe.
It was weird. Like everything was fine, and then all of a sudden the bid dropped a little bit there. Let's go to Adara, see if there was a headline.
Yeah.
Something might be.
So I was looking here for news on the marijuana or cannabis space. I've talked about this before. There is a website that generally I would find if there is news, it populates here. It's called Marijuana Moment. So Marijuana Moment, the most recent article I'm seeing 2 hours ago, apparently there was the launch of a new federally backed marijuana research center. Other than that, I'm not seeing any news. As I mentioned earlier, I would say about 90% of the time if there's news on cannabis, it has to do with with this site. But also, it's worth noting these cannabis-related names get a lot of attention on social media, so sometimes that can be the reason for the move as well. Back to you.
Well, there was a truth, but it's related to. I'll read this. I just did that whole thing when my coffee was way too.
Yeah, so you spelled what? You trying to copy me? Yes.
And I spilled that coffee, but it's okay. It's clean now. Here we go. Let me just read this one out loud. Boeing should default China for not taking the beautifully finished planes that China committed to purchase. This is just a small example of what China has done to the U.S. for years. And by the way, fentanyl continues to pour into our country from China through Mexico and Canada, killing hundreds of thousands of our people, and it better stop now. Well, yeah, that's probably not the best.
December.
What did Boeing do on that? Anything? Did you just check the expiry date on the...
Yeah, Ramin said make sure you're not taking expired drugs.
Yeah,
someone must have experience over there.
Do you have any...
no, I'm just... yeah, they're expired in December, and I don't have too many left. Well, I told you my plan, generally. Why would I complain about anything, Ramin? What do you... Okay. Ramin. Be more positive this year. But no, I don't know. I think you can have... I don't know if they're a best before date or what there, but... Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I'm taking Sharif's advice, not yours.
They're not as effective, yeah.
December of 26, okay? I do have a little bit of a headache, but that's because a little bit of a lack. I don't know why.
Ramin,
you know what I think it was?
Ramin, see this in the chat right here from Ali. in all caps. And I'm cool with the all caps here. The people want a mic on Ramin because we're having a discussion.
We've tried to do that.
That we can all, for Sean and I, we can hear it, and Sharif and Joe can hear you, and we have to try to relay both sides of it, but the people would like it the same way Joe Rogan has Jamie, and you can hear Jamie talk. It would be pretty cool if we got that one solved. I'm just throwing it out there. It would make it so much more fun.
Yeah. Well, it's not about solving the problem. She just has to activate the mic right there. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Hit the like and the subscribe if you are enjoying the show thus far and all of the trading that we've been doing. I mean, Neil's been in many more names, although I don't think very many today.
Not really.
I've only been in Amazon and AMD as we continue to look for opportunities. Trump True Social post there on Boeing, of course, and not really moving around too much right now is Boeing. Merck. So Merck today, I was going to say getting merked, but not really, is it? Just down 1.28% there as their earnings beat Wall Street and adjust their 2025 profit outlook today as well. So Merck with the downside move as well. Let's figure out what's going on with gold. Nope. GLD is not what I'm looking for, not gold. So criticizing China a little bit with that truth post. There apparently is what I'm hearing in my ear. And again, Adara's been all over this. We want to thank her for that. Gold getting a little bit of a bump right there as well as maybe some more uncertainties trying to hit right now. We are lucky just to get another pop in Amazon. So I look over, we have about 8% left of this Amazon trade. Yeah, no, I don't know. I didn't get too many hours last night. I don't know why. It was just up a bunch, and it's just affecting me a little bit here, just with the lights and everything. So everything is good to go as far as that is concerned. Maybe it's AMD time to turn around. If the market is going to bleed a little bit, this break of the 50-period moving average right there is going to be a good look for AMD because you already have, see what I'm talking about? You have that defined top.
Execution.
There's, so far for me, yeah. I mean, I'm not hitting
all right, I don't have
trades.
execution.
You don't have execution?
No, I don't have execution right now. I don't have execution.
Okay, we'll have to hit up that website that we have. Okay, let's go back. Was that a call for Adara as we sort out what's going on? Okay, Adara, what's going on over there?
What's going on here is money talks, but also I want to let you guys know I did repost the Trump True Social post about Boeing and fentanyl on X at TTV Research. You can check that out, X at TTV Research. We repost market-relevant Trump True Social posts. We make infographics about a host of things. It's me up here doing all of this, so check it out on X at TTV Research. The other thing I want to mention here is basically the post, in case you missed it, I know Neil read it out, was that Trump wants Boeing to default China for, quote, not taking the beautifully finished planes that China committed to purchase. Kelly Ortberg of Boeing, the CEO, yesterday said during their earnings reports that they're trying to resell them anyway. So it sounds like BA already has a plan to deal with this regardless, but keep an eye on Boeing and keep an eye here on this US dollar. We've talked here a lot about these lower highs, lower lows. We based out pretty nicely here, a bit of a double bottom and a bullish engulfing candle here that we got on Tuesday. Nice base around that 98,000 level, but right now trying to push a little bit lower after a green day yesterday. I also want to mention here these odds for the rate cut at the next meeting. Almost 97% of participants, 96.6% of participants are not seeing any rate change at the May meeting. 3.4% of participants expecting a 25 basis point cut. So we are expecting very, very highly there to be no rate change at the next meeting. But when you come back to June, we still have about 60% of participants expecting a 25 basis point cut. So it looks like the 25 basis point cut in June is still priced in. Participants still expecting, likewise, no cut in May. Back to you.
So we're back, and the reason I knew, you heard me say, oh, I have no execution and it came right back on there, is my stop on Intel triggered, didn't punch me out. I looked over and I got an error message, and then I went to punch out of it manually. By the time execution came up, I was getting filled at 21 instead of 21.04, 24 half, something along those lines. So, I mean, it happens time to time, but we're back. This does feel like we rolled over a little bit in the market. Gives you extra slippage, but that happens. Nphase is still hitting at those lows. We'll see what that one's able to do. QBTS. So we want to check something on Nphase here.
Nphase not really moving around too much.
It's holding the high really well, but I'm waiting for it to break down. It's good technical level at 45.74. or 75. It breaks that. I think we got another leg to the downside, but I wanted to make sure that range from yesterday. Qubits is right. It's underneath VWAP, but it's above the prior day high, this is why I liked it more than Rigetti, because I felt like you had a bounce spot. We scalped a couple times out there. I didn't add back in at VWAP, but I think once we're solidly holding back above that prior day high, then I'll jump in. So we've already done a bit of a bounce. We can consolidate here. My stop is underneath yesterday's high on QBTS.
All right. With tonight's draft, I mean, what better to look right now for the #1 look for unbeatable odds on the biggest games? Look no further. Switch to ProfitX's peer-to-peer platform where you set the price. No more one-size-fits-all lines. It's like crafting your own strategy with real-time trading tools. Secure the best odds, track all the action, and watch your plays come alive. Experience total control at every step. ProfitX Sports Playing Reimagined. Users can use code TraderTV at checkout to sign up and grab that 2% back on ProfitX. Neil and I will probably go over some more of those. Join us on the afternoon show.
We'll look at 100%.
We'll look at some of those odds, what those look like for Shador and everything like that tonight. As you know, you can bet how many quarterbacks in the first round. You can go ahead, talk about it, where Jackson Dart's going to go, any wide receivers, who's going to be the first overall pick, what will Tennessee do? I think that's going to be Cam Ward.
Someone's trading up in late first to get Dart. That's what I think.
A late first. Okay, that might make sense. I mean, we don't know what Pittsburgh's doing at 7 or whatever they're picking, right? That could be a quarterback there as well. And then the Giants are a mystery, in my opinion, because they should be the one taking Sanders. A big market. I think Dion would be happy there. And then they only have Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, so they might as well not dress a quarterback at all. But as we go, thank you to ProfitX for all of that. But we have to discuss, because Joe's right there, and he's always wondering what's for lunch.
Yes.
Okay. What's for lunch today? Oh, man. It's our favorite protein once again. And if you guessed that it was the feathered one, then you are right, because it is a chicken dinner tonight. The feathered one. Yeah, that's not bad, right? Or maybe I'll have to use that a little bit more. But it's not bad, right? You got some barbecue.
Feathers. I'll go with it.
Chickens have feathers, right, I think?
Yeah.
I guess it could be duck. I mean, how often do we have duck around here?
That'd be
barbecued quail with spiced potato wedges.
Yes.
Take it.
Yeah.
With steamed seasoned veg. That's okay. I mean, I steamed is nice healthy way of going about it. With a chef's choice salad. So I'm thinking that we probably will also have a chicken breast on our salad. And join on the midday, where yesterday I showed the lunch, and it was quite tasty, and it was a chicken breast yesterday. So that is what's for lunch. And what we're doing is just cooking up something real special here, because there goes Amazon, now up 2.1%, now up more than the market. We were in this name when it was about 20% of the S&P. Now it's outpacing the S&P. We absolutely nailed this. Sharif, it's not a $1 winner. It's not a $2 winner. It's a $3 winner right there. So there goes Amazon. Now we are piecing it out, man. We said we had about 8% left. We just took another piece right here at the high of the day. So we'll roll with this 5%. And I actually put it in the chat, how can I do better on these plays? So I need to figure this out for myself, just because, right? And it's just like, I hate losing. Like when we lose on AMD and we lose, like we're up on the day, so it's fine. But like if I had just held this position similarly to what I was expecting on AMD, then we could have made a heck of a lot more. So I just, my first area to get out was right here, and we did a pretty good job of that, of around 182.60. But remember, our average price at that time was like 181.80, so that's still 60 cents. So we're happy with it. Then we went up, and I'm always going to get out something around 183. So we do have a bunch of outs right in around this 183 area right there. Then it dipped back, and we got nervous. We actually almost caught a reload, but missed it. Then more outs right here at 183. Then as it starts to climb, I just start piecing it out again. It's just like piecemeal trading. It's effective for me because I don't have to pay for any of these, and actually I get I get paid every time you see one of these ticks. It's a small amount. Even if it's for 10 shares or 20 shares, I'm not paying $4.99 a trade there, or else that makes this kind of a style completely irrelevant. But at the end of it all, it's a good trade there for Amazon. Maybe Fibonacci's, I always hear that. I did call up RSI for a minute there and was trying to use that, but RSI in this kind of an environment to me doesn't really give me the juice that I'm looking for, because you have huge moves and it will sort of counteract what RSI was doing. But anyways, I don't know.
People use ATR.
I know an average true range might not be great these days either, because
tricky.
the ranges are so huge.
Exactly, because the volatility is just so different.
Best advice, never sell. Yeah, well, okay.
Well, that's the easy part.
That's an easy way to get shut down. I don't remember the last time I've ever been put in sim mode or anything like that. So yeah, getting shut down is not something that I would like to do.
But because you never know.
But you can, like, holding all day. There are some traders for sure that say today's long. Yeah. They get long and they just average into it all day and then stop out maybe at the close.
Well, I could never stomach it. You remember Arun used to be on the show, and I've seen him be sitting in something that's like, I'm just going to hold it all day long, and I'll see it, and it's like, it's so good, so good, so good. It'll be really, really deep in the money, and I'm like, you'll see he doesn't take it off. He's just holding on. It's his thing. It's his position. The market does like this turn that you kind of see. Look, you're trading like mean reversion, or you see support and resistance. You see something happening on a turn. You're like, oh, something different is happening. And he's like, no, he's still in it. His reasons are still there. And I couldn't stomach it because something distinct happens, like a trend break. There's no way I wouldn't cover along, or at least take something out, or at a big support and resistance level. But you've got to do whatever works for you. The market, so what I love about this right now is the market's going higher. Amazon's going great for Sean through the high of the day, although the NASDAQ's not at the high yet. It's about to break it. But Nphase, which is the short that we loved, is going to break to the low of the day right now. So it did get to 46.5 several times. Like, I did stop out of this one once. So unfortunately, it can't be as good as I wanted it to be, but we jumped right back in. Eyeballing where the obvious support is at 45 1/4. We only have about a minute and a half to go. So I'll leave you with patience being a virtue on Tesla. Hey, look what's happening now. Tesla is coming right into the volume-weighted average price on Q. It did do it right in here at 950 and missed out on that trade. I think we're going to get a chance here on Tesla. It's not just anything, too. Like 254, essentially where this thing spiked to on that. There was some talk last night, tariff relief for autos. You saw a spike up in Tesla. It held 254 as resistance, and now it's the early morning range top. And it's a support level. So little push into VWAP here. 54 holds. We're going to go long in the midday on Tesla.
All right. We did this the other day. Thanks, Theo. I just wanted to get this through real quick. You guys doubled our likes or tripled our likes a couple days ago when we asked for it. So right now, 1.2K only, with over 8,600 of you watching right now. Just go down if you can, hit the like. That would be awesome for us. Get these numbers pumped up a little bit. I mean, anything helps. We're doing this, we're doing it live. We're doing it free. And we would really just appreciate that, so that, Brendan makes these real cool, what do you call those on the front? Thumbnails.
Yes, thumbs. The kids call them.
What would I do without Joe over here? Thumbnails. There's we talk and talk, and that's the thing. We talk all day, and it's like sometimes you get a little wrapped up in the words you're looking for there. All right, so here we go. You guys still want us to do trade of the day? Maybe we could do that. We can bring that back right here. And for me, it would be.
We have a green screen.
Yeah.
We used to do it in front of the green screen. The whole thing.
We've had a green screen for a minute, that's for sure. We are getting excited because we're going to go through some major renovations very soon, so get ready for that. ETA the fall, so it's a little ways away, but believe me when I tell you, it shall be worth it. So again, thank you so much, DDT. I remember Jameis Winston crabs. The guy went into that, doesn't have crabs. It was crab legs.
That's why I was just
he went into, when he was with Florida there in college, I guess he went into a grocery store and walked out of there with a bunch of crab legs. And I think the guy told him he could have them, but then anyways, I like Jameis Winston. Shout out to Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Look, this has to be said. That happens because you have a bit of an entitlement. Like a lot of these athletes, like since the time they were stars in high school, probably are used to just walking anywhere local, being the big you-know-what, and we'll just give them stuff for free. You create that type of an environment, things like that are going to happen. You need to make sure people are responsible and accountable for their actions and don't think they get the world handed to them. But that's my old man
Florida
rant.
State, yep.
And I still have, look, Jameis Winston, FSU, he's a good quarterback. He's not going to do anything for the Giants this year.
Well, he's going to chuck a couple balls. He's going to be good for neighbors.
Some interceptions, maybe, and he's
Oh,
not
it's great for
afraid to fire.
interceptions.
But let's go on over. I'll tell you this right now. It's not that much better over in Dallas for Sharif. Let's go to the midday boys. Joey Options and the Professor on the Mount Rushmore, which we didn't show again today. I don't think Sharif got to see the Mount Rushmore, so maybe we should pull that one up for him.
Yeah, he wasn't here. He has no
We'll be back
idea.
at 2 o'clock. Someone show it to Sharif.
See ya.
Hey, he didn't see it.